Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today, we're discussing a topic that has been discussed many a time on this channel. We've discussed it to death. However, this topic keeps coming up every time we play a game of football. And it's because every time we play a game of football, this player that we're going to be discussing today always seems to take the center of all attention for his lack of performance, his lack of judgment, both on the pitch and in the studios where interviews are taking place, in his living room, wherever. He has stirred up a lot of trouble for himself, primarily, and for the club also. This player is Romelu Lukaku, as you probably all can see from the thumbnail. He is the player I am discussing tonight. And I'm discussing this not because I hate the player, not because I've got an agenda against him. On the contrary, he's a player I wanted to see at this club. He's a player I was pleased to see us sign. However, the results and the performances haven't been to the standard or the level that I myself was hoping for. It is what it is, but we need to address it because the fans are unhappy. Some are unhappy at his performances, and some are unhappy at the way he has been treated. Some think he still has potential. Others think he doesn't have any potential. Last night, on Match of the Day, this player was addressed by, in my opinion, three of the best strikers I have seen play the game. Three of the best strikers I have seen play the game. I was very lucky to witness Gary Lineker playing in his prime. I was very lucky to see Alan Shearer and Ian Wright both play football and both score some fantastic goals and have fantastic careers. So when three strikers of that caliber who have done it both at club level and at the international level, who have been able to score goals and to have broken records. When these three individuals talk about things relating to Romelu Lukaku's performances, you have to listen. You have to listen and take note. Whether you agree or disagree, you have to listen and take note. Because these guys know what they're talking about. I'm not an expert. I never played football at that level. Listen, for me, football was a game I played in the park with my mates. I never did it on any level higher than that. But I'm a big fan. And I know enough to know when a player isn't performing or is performing. Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer and Ian Wright talked about the lack of service. They talked about the positioning. They talked about things of that nature. For me, a player needs to make those runs, to get into those positions. And Alan Shearer, to be fair, he highlighted areas that Lukaku definitely needs to improve on. He also highlighted areas where the team members need to improve in regards to their passing, in regards to their creative output when it comes to Lukaku. Some balls should have been played straight away and it was delayed and then the opportunity had gone. But at the same time, Romelu Lukaku does need to address his form. As Alan Shearer said, he needs to address these things. The team needs to do things. The player needs to do things. Right now, it isn't happening for Romelu Lukaku and it isn't happening for Chelsea Football Club with Romelu Lukaku as our striker. We're going to be discussing that on the stream. I had invited a whole bunch of guys to come on, but it looks like only Bobby and Chris are here. So big up to Bobby and Chris, and I hope you guys are having a good evening. Oh, Couch Critic just popped on. Couch Critic just popped on. So big up to Couch, Bobby, and Chris. We will be discussing this topic. I will also be putting the link in the chat to give you guys an opportunity. I wanna hear what you guys have to say about this. I want to know where we are going wrong, because we are obviously going wrong when it comes to scoring goals. I know this is not specific to the season. It's been the case for a while for Chelsea Football Club, but we want to address this in respect to Romelu Lukaku and in respect to Chelsea Football Club, and why are we unable to get these goals? And why is it when a player does get into double figures, we sell him the next season? You know? So let's address this in the stream today. Let me just acknowledge some of you guys in the chat before we get into this. Big up to Hawkeyes. Lukaku, 7 touches is not a surprise. Kante and Jorginho. Yeah, Lukaku, 7 touches. That was a bit of a shocker. It was a bit of a shocker. In the first half, in 45 minutes of football, he only had 1 touch. 1 touch in the entire first half. 45 minutes of football, he touched the ball once. I mean, we're not counting the kickoff because that was also his touch. So he kicked that off and then he touched once in the entire first half of football. In the second half, 5 touches from our £100 million, £97.5 million striker. So that is a problem, lads. Arsenal for life. Welcome to the stream. Congratulations on beating Brentford. The way they celebrated, man, it's like they won the Champions League, man. So big up to
they won the treble apparently.
Yeah. No, Arsenal for life, seriously, man. Just banter. Don't unsubscribe. I'm kidding, man. Listen, everyone's welcome here. Arsenal fans, Tottenham fans. Tottenham fans, if you keep beating Man City like you do, you know, you can come on the stream. I don't mind. So big up to Chaos. If I don't know. Elias, big up to you. MCIG, big up to you. Verana, big up to you. Abdul B, big up to you. PJ, big up to you. You can have him, mate. Seriously, you can have him for free. Just pay his wages. All right, Gabriel, big up to you. No. We'll discuss it. That's what the stream is about. We'll discuss it. We might work out a deal for you lot. Who else? Gov, big up to you. Automotive, Khas Automotive. Are you an Arabic brother? Khas Automotive. An Arab dealing in cars. Yeah, I can see that. Khas means private, so private automotive. Big up to you. Who else is in here? I know this guy. He's been missing for a while, but it's good to see him in the chat. All right, MCIG, big up to you. Everyone in the chat, big up to you. And my panelists, all of you, big up to you. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. And listen, guys, the link is there for you. Click on it. Come on. I know a couple of yous are a little bit nervous to come on the stream, as per messages sent to me yesterday. But listen, we don't bite. You know, you can come on, say your piece, and leave. You know, you don't have to stick around and debate and argue with us. I know some people, you know, they just want to, give their thoughts and not have to get into a debate. You don't have to get into a debate. You can come on, give me your thoughts, and bounce out, and we'll discuss them, we'll address them. You want to come on and get into a debate with us, you're welcome to do so. This channel is for you guys. So, if you wanna come on, please do. And the link is in the chat now, and it's going to be pinned up top. Mikhail, listen, if anybody needs to jump on here, it's Mikhail. haven't talked to this brother for time, man. One of the OGs of the Baggy TV streams, Blue Lounge streams. So big up to you, Mikhail. I hope you and your family are doing well. I knew it. I was right. Yes, bro. It's my company's name. Yeah, Private Automotives. Khas Automotives. Big up to you, and may your business be blessed, and may you not sell dodgy cars to customers. Yeah, big up to you, man. All right, guys. This is the topic. I'm not gonna tell you guys what's going on because you all know what's going on. I'm not sure if Couch Critic did see the match of the day comments. Did you see it at Couch?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it. It made perfect sense to me, and it's kind of basically what I've been saying the longest time now. We haven't really fashioned a system built around this £100 million striker. Not to say that he's absolved of any of the guilt that comes from us not really creating any chances for him, but at the same time, you pay £100 million for a striker, and I know I've said this on the stream a million times before. You have to build a system for him, and it just doesn't look like we have any idea of what we're trying to do with Lukaku on the pitch, and this is now in February.
Couch, I hear that. And I see it as well. But the problem I have with this is as follows. Because yesterday, the highlights that they showed, and I'm focusing on the match of the day issue because I think they got it spot on to a certain degree when it comes to the situations they also highlighted. They highlighted a situation where they had a couple of situations where Kai Havertz could have played him in. They had a situation, I think, when Malang Sarr played it to Kante when he could have played it to Lukaku. They were both open. He chose to play it to Kante. And they highlighted another situation. I'm just trying to remember it. But the issue is this. There was also a whole set of situations that they didn't highlight when the ball was played into that area and Lukaku wasn't there.
Yeah,
he wasn't there. I saw it with Ziyech. I saw it with Havertz a couple of times. Even Pulisic did it a couple of times in that game. And Lukaku was nowhere to be seen. Now, I get it. He wants the ball played into certain areas and he's seeing certain plays. I get it. He's a great striker because his record says he's a great striker. However, he needs to open play for himself and not only rely on the others. And you see, the issue is this. The same night, we had another struggling striker do it against arguably the best team in the Premier League. And that was Harry Kane against Manchester City. And he had a blinder of a game against the toughest opposition he could face.
It's apples and oranges at this point, though, because you can't really compare what Harry Kane's doing to what we're playing a possession-based team, whereas Lukaku excels in the exact same role that Harry Kane excels in, playing on the counter, getting open space, making decisions on the break. And we're not doing that. We don't play like that at all. Like we camp out in the final third, we pass it around sideways. Nobody's making an incisive pass to get in behind. Nobody's making runs off the ball. Again, you could argue that there's no space to run into, if you're playing that high. But at the same time, we're not creating any opportunities that
I see that.
Like if we're going to play a possession-based team, like as a possession-based team, like you look at the likes of, Liverpool and the likes of Man City. The difference is those guys have multiple people charging forward. They have 4 or 5 people in the box at a time. You never see that with Chelsea until it's like the last 20 minutes of the game.
Sure. Couch, I understand that. And I agree with you. However, we can also say the same thing about Timo Werner because Timo Werner plays in a very similar style of football. He's good on the break. However, when it comes to possession-based football, Timo Werner struggles. So why does Chelsea go out there and buy players who are good on that in that kind of system rather than in our possession-based system?
Well, let's look at the managers we had before, right? It just comes down to what style of football we were buying players for. And I understand that Timo was bought for Frank, and you can argue that Tuchel bought Lukaku, but our brand of football has always been counter-attacking football for the longest time. Under Jose, under Conte, under Rafa, it goes on and on. That's just the makeup of the squad for the longest time. So I don't know. I agree with you. I think that we should be looking towards shaping players that fit the manager's style of football, a la what we did under Sarri. We brought in players that specifically suited Sarri's football. I don't think that we've done that since, to be honest.
Sure. All right. Let me hear from the rest of the team. Chris, Bobby, what's your thoughts on this particular situation? Is it the style? Is it the player? Is it the system? Is it Alan Shearer, Ian Wright, Gary Lineker have no idea what they're talking about? I mean, what is it? Let me hear it.
Go on, Bobby. You go first, mate. You go first.
Sure. I mean, I was gonna stop for you, but I'll jump in if you want. Listen, there's no single answer to this. There's a couple of things that that come to mind. Before I say anything, if there's one thing I can't stand, is an adult that sulks. So any sort of sulking or feeling not given enough attention coming from Lukaku should not be tolerated, especially post his interview. So, he's a top-rated striker. He's on top dollar. He needs to give top performances. Having said that, yesterday's comments by Alan Shearer, Gary Lineker, and Ian Wright, I listened to it with keen interest. And what did concern me, and I did find to be true, was they highlighted that, look, there is clearly a lack of offensive practice in Chelsea's team, because some of the passing that should come to Lukaku is not coming to him because it hasn't been rehearsed on the training ground. Now, I'm inclined to believe that. Why? Because of the season and a half it's taken for Ziyech to come into form, and because of the time it's taken for Tuchel to start saying in interviews, oh, this is where you get the best out of Ziyech. I think there are a number of reasons for this. One, the injury and COVID that Lukaku had didn't really help with the rehearsing how to use him on the pitch. And by the time he came back, we had so many injuries and so many games that survival was the name of the game. Two, Lukaku himself arrived sort of late in the transfer summer. And at that time, we had already started playing. And that, I think, inhibited things because there was no pre-season. Now, what does that actually mean? It means one of two things. One, either we are patient and we realize that despite all his experience and all his cost, it may take Lukaku a season and a bit to bed in, or we get rid of him in the summer. Now, I don't see us getting rid of him in the summer. I think the former is probably how we're going to go forward. It's going to take some time. It's painful to realize. I think some of it where his attitude comes in is, if a striker, I appreciate all the fatigue and all the issues they had coming back from the World Club Cup. Maybe that had part of it to do, something to do with it. I don't know. But just like for once, I can actually side with Craig Burley, where, although he didn't quite use these words, but I just think it is an absolute disgrace that a striker of whatever caliber can only touch a ball twice in one half. That's more than embarrassing. And if I was Lukaku's manager, I would hammer that point home. No time for sulking. No time for all this, woe is me, I'm Lukaku, nobody loves me. I don't give a rat's ass about that. You've got a job to do, mate. Get out
Bobby,
there.
should he have been taken off in that game?
Well, it's hard to say. Taken off for who? This is the problem. Even Timo Werner, I have a lot of empathy for him as well, because Werner hasn't been doing badly. But,
Bobby, Timo Werner has the flu. I mean, he was on the bench, but from what I understood, he was 50-50 whether or not he'd take part in that game. However, I think Kai Havertz in the game was employed wrongly out on the left. Maybe bringing him in to where Lukaku is playing. Maybe bringing Pulisic out wide and adding another central player might have been the way to go. I know we were lacking in regards to options. We had quite a few injuries for that game. But the issue I have here, Bobby, is this: Lukaku is being picked to play regardless of his performance. Now we saw this with Timo Werner last season when Tuchel first took over, and we even thought that this was he was instructed to play Timo Werner every game until he starts to perform, because Timo Werner was being played regardless of him scoring or not scoring. He was being given game time. Now we're seeing the same thing with Lukaku. Lukaku is playing, even though, for me, I wouldn't play him next game. No. I wouldn't play him in the Champions League. No, but will that happen? Will Tuchel do that?
No.
Go on.
Quite frankly, he won't. There's a complexity to this. And that is, one, we do have injury problems. This was what I kicked off about yesterday from the fan base. We've got to recognize and accept that. Two, this is where the reality of the longevity of the manager is coming to fore. This guy has only been here 5 minutes. It's quite clear to me that he is still learning the strengths and full weaknesses of his team. Now, will he keep persisting with Lukaku? I think he will. Is it a ploy? Maybe. I don't know. But I think he will for 3 reasons. One, we don't really have anybody else that's fit enough. 2, the investment made in him. And 3, he wants to keep playing him to see what he's about, because he's learning what he's about. And I think our fan base are expecting too much too soon. We've
bang on, Bobby. Killing it.
But at this stage, we need more time for the whole thing to start to come together properly.
All right. Let me bring in Chris here. Interesting perspective from both Bobby and Couch. Let me hear Chris's thoughts on this. Chris, would we be advised to drop Lukaku for the Champions League fixture on Tuesday? Do you think there is a way for the man to redeem himself? Where is it going wrong? Chris, let me hear it.
First of all, pleased to be back on the Blue Lounge, the best Chelsea fan channel. That's a fact. I hope everyone's doing well, the panel and the listeners as well. To answer your question, Mo, then I'll obviously put my thoughts to this Lukaku situation. Would I drop him against Lille? I would. I said it yesterday. I think going forward, I think we should look at new ideas, because the idea with the performances, not just with Lukaku, but the team as a whole, it's not working. So I think that going forward, we should. But then it goes to the fact that if it doesn't work on Tuesday against Lille and Lukaku's not playing, then it just opens a big can of worms, in my opinion. Well, what's going wrong then, But in my opinion, I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't play him on Tuesday. Look, I'm sick of this excuse, this service excuse. That performance yesterday from Lukaku, a 97.5 million striker, 2 touches. One was kick-off and one was just a touch in the first half of football. What was the total amount of touches? 7 touches, I believe. 7 touches, 4 passes, 0 shots, 0 chances created. That is shambolic. That is shambolic. And it jumps on Bobby's point. Look, I think we can all agree that he probably doesn't even want to play for Chelsea. Look, we're not saying you have to. You know, I personally believe he doesn't want to be here. That's what I believe, right? Whether it's the system, and he criticised the system in the interview, whether it's his relationship with Tuchel, whether it's whatever, whether he prefers to play the Serie A, that's fine. Us Chelsea fans, we're not saying you have to stay. But what we're saying is, while you're here and you're playing for Chelsea Football Club, you perform to that your best ability. Okay, you can have an off day. You can have an off day, but it's too many off days, especially for a 97.5 million striker. So honestly, it's quite embarrassing. Really, we should be talking about. We should be talking about Lukaku. Did you see that hat trick he scored? Did you see that brace he scored? Instead, we're talking about it's 2 touches and a first
7
half of
touches.
football. Yeah, honestly, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and honestly, mate, I'm sick of talking about Lukaku. But he'll probably be here next season. Look, being realistic, he probably will be here next season. We paid 97.5 million on him. I don't see him going anytime soon, and I hope that's not at the expense of Tuchel's job. But I hope it's not.
I don't think Tuchel's job is at risk. I think if we finish top 4, regardless of what happens for the remainder of the season, if we finish top 4 from where we are right now, Tuchel is secure in his position. Regardless. Yeah. I have a question to everyone here on the panel and also the people in the chat. And again, people in the chat, the link is there. If you want to come on, click on the link. Come on, chat with us, give us your thoughts, ask a question. You know, the link is there for you to use. Also, a reminder, if you just joined us and you haven't hit the like button, make sure you do that, get that out of the way. And if you're new, subscribe. A question to everyone on the panel and in the chat. This is a question this is a topic that's been addressed by many pundit, journalist, fan. We need to play to Lukaku's strengths. We need to adapt our system to suit Lukaku because he is a big investment. And I can understand that. And I agree with it to a certain degree because he is such a massive investment. We do need to adapt to a certain degree to have him fit in. However, I want to know from the panel here and from you people in the chat, how do you adapt to fit a striker like Lukaku, the way he's currently playing? What do we need to do to get him the service that he requires? Because
a lower block.
Hold on, Cash, let me finish. I said this. I was being sarcastic, but you know, it really does make sense because you know there's an expression, you know, served to him on a plate. You know, the course was served to him on a plate, but he didn't finish his dinner. Now, for Lukaku to be successful, you don't have to serve it to him on a plate. You have to feed it in his mouth, and then maybe he will finish his dinner. Because literally, what I saw yesterday, 7 touches, a lack of any energy. He points at where he wants the ball, and if he doesn't get the ball where he points, he's not interested. I saw a pass to him on the edge of the box by Malang Sarr. Yes, the pass was a little bit wide, but if he had put in a couple extra quick steps, he might have got to it. I don't know. I just think he is not interested. Couch, you were going to say about the low block. Carry on. Explain it to me. What do we need to do to feed this man?
Lukaku needs space. It's just obvious. He wants to use his pace and power to get in behind. If you play him back to goal, he's very ineffective. That much is obvious, and that's how we're using him right now. We're playing a high line. The pitch is very condensed. There's lots of players in and around him all the time, just because of the fact that, you know, he obviously commands a lot of attention. He usually has two or three defenders on him, or one shielding him and then one actually marking him. And then if you play with a lower block, it allows teams to come out a bit more. And then if we win the ball back, it gives him space and time to run into spaces. That's when he looks the most effective. It's not when we play a high line, we have this condensed pitch, and you're asking this guy to be a technical marvel, because we all know that he's not. He doesn't have the technical ability to unlock teams. When you play ball defeat and you ask him to, make a dribbling move to get by on somebody, or if you're asking him, to make an incisive run or whatever. That's not his game. His game has always been playing on the counter. His game has always been most effective when he's running at players and he has the ability to select what his options are, whether it means to like bully past a guy or pick a pass, which he's very good at, to be honest. He's very good at laying in the ball for other players in space. And that is the method. Like, we just have to drop the line a little bit deeper to give him more space to run in behind. I would say the same thing could be true for Werner as well. We just play too high of a line for those guys to be effective in small spaces because they're not technically sound enough for that. That's how I see it, at least.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm seeing the comments in the chat. Varied opinion, but this comment here from Donald, and Donald, thank you for the super chat, much appreciated. He says, not a fan of Lukaku, but I think the best way to support him is to play attacking and midfield players in their best position, or take him off in the second half. I'm guessing we're talking about Ziyech being played out wide, and maybe Pulisic wide and Havertz tucked in. I agree with you. We need to play players in their position. However, injuries has hindered us a lot recently. And also, I think Tuchel is trying to build chemistry, and maybe that's why for yesterday playing Havertz out wide, he probably thought that would be the best way to connect him with Lukaku rather than playing him behind him, which is what I would have gone for, and a lot of you guys would have gone for. Donald, thank you for the super chat, much appreciated. Go on, Bobby.
I think that's a good point, though. Can I just touch on that real quickly? Sorry, Bobby. I just wanted to comment on what he said here, and I agree with you. For the most part, when you say support with attacking with players and like playing players in their best position. Like, I've been saying this for the longest time, and we're seeing it now with Ziyech. Like, he's not a number 10. He's a winger, an out-and-out number winger. And look at the performances that he's been putting in as a winger. You play Callum Hudson-Odoi at wingback, and you're expecting these marvelous performances out of him. You're not going to get that. You can't expect every player to be, tactically flexible and able to diversify their game, especially when they're really young. Like, you need to play them in their proper positions and allow them to find form in their proper positions. When you start playing them out of position, they lose their way, and we're seeing that now. Like, I don't think that Tuchel should be absolved from what's happening right now. As much as I think he's a brilliant manager and he's working with what he has, like, we have to look at that. Like, there's a lot of players that have not been given the opportunity to play in their proper positions, and then we berate them because they're not able to be, fluid or diverse enough to play in these other roles. I don't think that that's necessarily the case, to be honest.
Look, this is a luxury. We're missing the point. We had yesterday 6 players out injured? 4 players coming back from injury? When your team is injury ravaged, that's why you play people in different positions. You try to get the best out of what you have. Now, I do understand the service to Lukaku. Clear example of that was in the World Club Cup final when Callum Hudson-Odoi finally did put a cross in. Lukaku was there to head it for the first goal. Point taken for that. But the truth of the matter is, we have a team that is built on our defensive stability. He has to fit into that, not the other way round. And that defensive stability is what has helped us survive what is perhaps one of the most injury-ravaged periods we have had in a long time. We've got key players out.
Sorry to interrupt you. I agree 100%. However, defense doesn't win you games. It stops you from losing, but doesn't win. And we need to start winning.
But that's why we're playing survival, isn't it? We're first of all making sure we don't lose and then try and win. When a key part of our game was Ben Chilwell and Reece James. When we lost both of them, we lost a great deal of our ability to play on the wings and a great deal of our offensive midfield play. And had Lukaku been fit when they were fit, we could be telling a different story now. So it's not, I don't blame Tuchel at all. I think he's doing his best with what he has, coupled with the fact that he is still learning players like Lukaku. He's still learning a great deal of his first team squad. And he will not really be able to express his full ability until next season, when hopefully we address the squad depth. There's an imbalance in the squad depth, and hopefully he'll be able to address the strikers to play in the way he wants them to play. At the moment, we're still putting out fires at Chelsea. And this is what the fan base don't understand. We're talking about, play players in the right positions. How can you, when there's deficiencies in those positions? He's had to move things around. That's why.
But Bobby, you're ignoring the fact that when he first came here, his first move was to put Callum Hudson-Odoi at wing back. Like, this is something he's done.
To teach him how to play that position.
But he's not. That's not his
One
position.
second.
Exactly what I was trying to make.
One second. In regards to positions, in regards to players being played out of positions, that is sometimes something you have to do due to a lack of squad depth, which is what Bobby addressed right from the get-go. Squad depth is a massive issue. It's a massive issue. And also, a case could be made. A case could be made for Lukaku, and not only for Lukaku, but for the team as a whole. We are currently missing the creative aspect or the creative service that Reece James and Ben Chilwell provide, because they provide a lot of goal-threatening opportunities, either scoring goals or creating goals. And the fact that they have been missing for a big chunk, that is an issue. And I agree. Lukaku needs to step up, but at the same time, our team as a whole is missing some of its key elements when it comes to chance creation. I wanna.
Just say this one thing about Callum Hudson-Odoi before I shut up for a bit. You're
good to talk.
Thank goodness, Tuchel forced Callum to play as wing back. He added that string to his bow, because boy, oh boy, if he wasn't able to do that, we would have suffered when Alonso had to not play at the start of the Club World Cup because he was too slow. Callum can at least deputize a little bit in that position on the left-hand side. So that's been helping us while we've been struggling with injuries.
I'm not arguing that. I agree with you. I think that was been beneficial to have him learn the position and whatnot, but he was used predominantly in that role for a long stretch. Like, predominantly. He wasn't getting any looks in his preferred position. And this is what we were talking about earlier, what the commenter said, is that sometimes you have to play players that don't have the versatility to play multiple roles in their preferred role to find form. And that's been a problem at the club. Like, we're talking about Ziyech. Ziyech was playing as an inside forward. He doesn't play there. And now we're seeing the best performances from him. And everyone's talking about how they're raving about how great he is now, So it's about playing players in their proper position sometimes as well. I'm not saying that resolves the problem, but we have to look at that as well. We have to fashion a system that fits the players that we have at the squad.
Yep. I want to address this comment here from J-Star. J-Star is saying, it's two comments, they're linked. The first one, Ziyech is being played at his preferred position. So how many assists to Lukaku does he have? And then he goes on to say, Ziyech is one of the best aerial crossers in the game, but hey, now put in on the ground for Lukaku or he'll disappear. I get what you're saying, J-Star. I get what you're saying. But the point is this. We are missing a big element. I'm hearing some audio in the background. I'm not sure if it's Couch or if it's Kasim. Can you guys put your mics on mute, please? In regards to creative potential, creative avenues, we are missing two big ones in Ben Chilwell and in Reece James. Yes, Hakim Ziyech has made some great cross. I mean, especially in the game yesterday, he made some great crosses. Unfortunately, there was no one at the end of them, and that is a problem. And Lukaku should have been attacking those crosses a little bit better. He should have been trying to read the play of Hakim Ziyech. Lukaku and Hakim Ziyech, they are very close off the pitch. Therefore, they should have some chemistry built up by now. And unfortunately, we're not seeing that. So I see what you're saying. I want to say big up to Olu and to Kasim. Guys, welcome to the stream. I know you guys have been listening. You guys have heard what we've been talking about. I also know your perception and your thoughts in regards to Lukaku in general. But the questions that we have that we need to address today on the stream is: do we adapt to fit Lukaku into our system? Sorry, do we adapt to fit into Lukaku's style of play? Or does Lukaku have to adapt and fit into Tuchel's system, Chelsea's system? Now, Chelsea's system hasn't been good when it comes to scoring goals, apparently. That's what's been said. It's been said that Chelsea have struggled to score goals for the past few seasons. Therefore, scoring goals is a problem that Chelsea have, whether it's Tuchel or whether it's Lampard, whether it's anybody else. However, we have seen Tammy Abraham, who is a player who just come in through the academy, get 15 goals in his first season. He's got double figures in his first season. So you'd expect something similar to that from a £100 million striker in Lukaku. So what do we do? Do we adapt? Does he adapt? I'll hear from Olu because he was here first, and then we'll go to Kasim. So Olu, let me hear it. Welcome to the stream.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Olu.
Great. So with regarding Lukaku, I think the question should be, what is Lukaku's style first?
Good question.
What is Lukaku's style? And, regardless of playing to Lukaku's strength, style, or Chelsea's or Tuchel's style, I think the problem here is Lukaku isn't doing the basic fundamentals. Like you said something about we're missing our wing back, Reece James, Ben Chilwell. Yes, we all understand that gets the best of, that will get the best of our players if they were available. We get to play to our strengths. But regardless of the current situation, Lukaku isn't doing the basic fundamentals. Lukaku doesn't hold the ball enough. Lukaku doesn't win headers. He doesn't press. He's very lackadaisical, on the pitch. That has nothing to do with whether we've missed our fullback or not. He's not giving us the bare minimum. So I think, he needs to sort himself. Then we can now play to his strengths. So that's why I asked the question. What are his strengths?
That's the question. What are his strengths? That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I mean, go on.
And if he isn't showing, the bare minimum qualities, it's difficult for us to play to his strengths. And, I also get this feeling, or you get to notice, the players on the pitch, that they don't have that confidence in him. You spoke about Tammy Abraham, he scored 20 goals. Yet we still criticize him, saying he wasn't a finished article. However, he was doing the bare minimum. He was making runs, he was holding the ball. It wasn't just clinical, but he was doing the bare minimum. Then we cannot build on that. But for Lukaku, it's a big problem. And it's really sad because I like Lukaku. I'm really disappointed in what he's giving us in Chelsea. And don't forget as well, this is a guy that came up, a couple of weeks ago, saying he doesn't want to play for our club. So it's a very big problem. So, it's a big problem. I remember the likes of Fernando Torres. Torres had his issues with Chelsea, we know. But you could see the hard work. He was very determined. He was chasing the ball, winning area balls. He was doing the bare minimum. Lukaku, for me, is a big struggle. We got to fix this as soon as possible. I don't know. It's a big problem for Chelsea going forward.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about strengths. For me, his strength, he's not holding the ball. His strength, he's not laying off the ball. His strength, he's not bullying defenders. His pace, what pace? He's not carrying the ball anywhere. He's not doing nothing. So he has strengths, apparent strengths. However, I can't see him implementing those strengths. I mean, with 7 touches in a game, it's very hard to show your strengths.
That's very shambolic, like I said yesterday. Regardless of how depleted your team is, for a striker, regardless of his amount, you should be doing better than just 7 touches. That is dreadful. I'll tell you something. Even an under 21 youth level player will do better than 7 touches. That's very hard to defend.
I think if you tried to avoid a football, you probably touch it more than 7 times in a match. It'll probably bounce off you more than 7 times. I don't know. Listen, I want. Go on.
Sorry, before I just want to make one more point. I know if you claim, a lot of people say, "Oh, Chelsea, we don't play to his strengths. We don't make the passes to him." What is wrong in Lukaku chasing the ball and trying to win the ball?
Yeah.
With that, it will have had more than 7 touches. So I think it's more of Lukaku himself is limited to himself. His attitude for me is very, it's not good. He got to fix himself.
Yeah, no, spot on. I think he needs to show more. He needs to show more. And we saw that in the Club World Cup. He got 2 very important goals, and big up to him for doing that. But even then, his body language, the way he celebrated, it looks like he wasn't quite pleased about it. So that is an issue. That is an issue.
Yeah, it's not even about the goals. I wouldn't be happy if he was even assisting and he wasn't scoring. He's doing either. So that's the problem.
Yep.
I'm not after the goals.
Before I go to Kasim, I just want to ask you guys to do us a favor and hit the like button. There's more than 130 of you currently on, and we've got 44 likes. So do us a favor, hit the like button. We don't hate Lukaku. We're not against Lukaku. We want to see Lukaku succeed. We want to see our £97.5 million investment pay up, score goals, start creating chances, and we want to know how the best way to support him and to mold him into the player that he can be. Kasim, do we need to adapt our system to fit Lukaku, or does Lukaku need to at least adapt to fit our system? Let me hear your thoughts, mate.
Welcome. Thanks for having me. How's everyone? All right?
Yeah,
good.
Bad,
Good.
mate,
Welcome, Kasim.
Well, listen, I don't know how to start this one, but listen, before I start, people make sure you smash that like button, people. First of all. Secondly, man, the guy is not good enough, man. Just not good enough. I'm sorry to say that. I think it's a combination of different things. His attitude, the guy just before me just said it. Well said. The effort, the wellness, still there, and on top of that, the main thing he's missing as a footballer, the foundation, the technical ability, as a striker, the timing, that incentive is there. Where is the ball gonna go? The striker, he's got that a second
instincts.
That's the right word. Yeah. Because what makes a striker go score goals before the defenders? Because he's good at second or two to be there before the defender. You get my point? He has
vision.
Instinct, that's the right word. He hasn't got that, mate. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I know his record in Belgium. Listen, don't talk about international football, man. Talk about Italy. I'm sorry. Don't talk about that. Italy is not a league for me. I'm sorry. Especially for strikers. But it's just, that's how I say it. People will come out and disagree with me. Listen, the guy technically is not great. You saying that? Well, how are we going to get the better of him? I don't think we can get the better of him. He's 29 years old. He's going to, right? He's going to 29 years old. I said it to in your channel before, Mo, while ago. Chelsea made a mistake, and I still stick with it. Everything I said while ago, Mo, is right. I'm not big on myself. I said it's a wrong signing. He's not the player for us. It was a rush signing. And I was right. And you know what made it worse now? Mo? Not scoring goals, as in his technical ability is dreadful. His attitude toward his club, his teammates, his manager, and his board. Right? Listen, people, if they're sincere when they make a mistake, they put the hand up and they go in there and try again. and give it everything, right? And when you look at him in TV or in the stadium, I tell you what, he's trying, right? And you give him the benefit of the doubt. The guy, right, his attitude not great. He blames his teammates, right? And the teammates will look at him and say, do we really need to bust him the ball? He doesn't work hard. He's not there for us. It's very such as dreadful. Even against City, when they put too much pressure on us, hold the ball. We know you're not going to score. Hold the ball. Give the midfielder and the defender with. He doesn't even do that, man. Diego Costa was good at it. Didier Drogba was good at it, right? And I am so sorry, man. I think we need to. I said it in my stream last night, Mo. It's two options for the board: to loan him option to buy, or keep our losses and we sell him. As simple as that, man. As simple as that. It's not going to get better. That's my opinion.
All right, so part ways with him, Qasim. Part ways with him.
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
Part ways. I mean, loan him, sell him, get rid of him. Don't rely on him as our striker next season. Is that is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
You don't think there is a way? And again, guys, this is a question to everyone. It's a question to everyone. Is there a way that we can change this guy to be the Lukaku of Inter Milan? Forget Lukaku of Inter Milan. Let's go to Lukaku of Manchester United, who got, I think, 18 goals in his last season or something like that.
Lukaku of Everton.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Listen, any Lukaku apart from Lukaku at Chelsea. All right, I want double figures. Double figures. Can we convert him? Can we convert him?
Oh, absolutely.
I hear what Qasim is saying,
and I think we can get the best from Lukaku. I think we just need more from him. This is a guy that's proven in the EPL, in the global.
How do we do that? That's a question. I mean, okay, how?
We really want to stay in Chelsea, and we need Tuchel needs to sit with him and be like, man, you have done this in the past, and how can we work together as a team and get the best from the team and from yourself?
No,
Bobby, go on, Bobby.
Tuchel needs to sit with him and ask him an honest question, and that question is: do you want to be at Chelsea or not?
No, he
If
doesn't.
the answer is no, then we work towards a solution to get him out. Because unless he really, really wants to be here, there's no hope in anything in changing his fortunes. Now, I suspect he may not, or maybe he does, and he just doesn't know how to apply himself. But until we clarify that one major point, there's no way forward. I get what Qasim is saying, but to be brutally honest, I don't think after laying out such a big investment, the club will let it go unless he wants to go.
Look, we can talk about Lukaku. The best solution would be for him to move on. Look, I can tell you right now, he's going to be here next season. He's going to be starting next season. So the best solution, it's not the best solution. I personally don't want him to be at Chelsea because I don't want a player to be at Chelsea. I don't want a player that doesn't want to play for Chelsea. Simple as that. And it's clear that Lukaku doesn't want to play for Chelsea. But he's not going to leave. The board we're not going to get anywhere near 97.5 million for him.
Yeah.
So
and his wages as well.
Fact is, we're going to have to look at solutions. What's the solution? Well, is there really any solution? If he doesn't want to be here, then we can try all we want. Let's talk about service. That performance yesterday was shocking me. Yeah, terrible, man. I mean, 7 touches the whole game, and that's what you do, mate. Talk about confidence, this and that. Oh, mate, this Lukaku, man, it's giving me a headache. Honestly, he doesn't want to be here, but he's going to be here next season.
Listen. I want to say this. Lukaku. I know people have different opinion. I mean, I'm reading the chat. I'm listening to you guys. Some of you in the chat on the panel think there is no hope in hell for Lukaku. No hope in hell for Lukaku. However, I disagree. And I know Abdul B saying stop, trying to find a way back for him, but I disagree. I think there is a very good striker there. However, right now this isn't in the game. This isn't in the game. And the thing is this. I think Lukaku is impacted by the way he is seen. He is perceived. Because he did the interview and he was still playing, and he came back from COVID, from an injury, and he banged 2 goals after he done that interview. But once that interview came out to the public, and once he saw the reaction of the public, Lukaku changed. He's no longer that player.
100%.
Right now, Lukaku is not right here because of the way the way he is perceived by the fans. Traitor. He doesn't want to be here. This and that. That's number one. Number two, he tried to fix it with his previous club, and he couldn't. The fans of the previous club also put up banners and saying, we don't accept your apology. We don't accept this or that. We don't want you anywhere near our club. The Inter Milan Ultras, that's what they were saying. So right now, he has lost the fans of his previous club and the fans of his current club. And that is why he's not right here right now. Now, instead of putting his head down and starting to play like the player that he should be able to play as, a person who has got record goals wherever he's been, instead he is sulking. His head is down. He feels entitled. Entitled to what? I don't know. We're paying you $350,000 a week. What more are you entitled to? To fans to cheer your name? You want the fans to cheer your name? Give us something to cheer about. 7 touches is not something that we're going to be cheering about. And this is my problem. I want to see him succeed. I want to see him do it. And I think he can. But at the same time, he's not allowing people like me who want to support him, who want to, be on the streams, giving him praises. We can't do it because he's not giving us the opportunity. Therefore, I'm here asking the question, what do we have to do? Do we have to change, or does he have to change?
He has to change.
My opinion, Chris, it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. Because, and I go back to talk about what I started this debate, this conversation about, what Alan Shearer, Ian Wright, and Gary Lineker started with. And their analysis, it shows me that Lukaku is lacking, but at the same time, the players could do more. Now, I know they're doing enough. Because don't get me wrong, they're doing enough, but they could do more. And do you know why they could do more? Because he needs to get his act together. Therefore, he needs, someone to put his arms around him and push him over that line. Because that's where he is right now. Right now, he's in a hole. Someone's got to put his hand there and pull him out of that hole. And the only people who can do that are his teammates. Now, how is that going to be sorted out? Tuchel needs to sort it out because we can't do it. Tuchel's got to sort this out.
Can I just come in more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, first of all, I don't pay much attention to the bandits, bro, because they're talking absolutely nonsense. Right?
These pundits are record goal scorers for England in the Premier League. They know what they're talking about. They know.
Bro, I'm telling you now, they're talking nonsense, bro. Because some of these pundits as well talk. They don't know what
they're talking about, Qasim?
No, most of them. No. Listen. Some of them.
Explain to me. Yeah.
I'm explaining to you, right? Yeah, some of them, they don't know what they're talking about. And some of them, they're talking to fit narrative because they're getting paid. They work for Sky and BT. We know that clearly. Okay? Some of them
Sorry, Qasim, I'm talking about Alan Shearer because I don't know about the rest of them. And I can't speak for the rest of them. But Alan Shearer, Ian Wright, and Gary Lineker, they are the ones who I'm talking about right now because I'm talking about the match of the day analysis.
Listen, it's credible. Lineker and Shearer, I got respect. Ian Wright, 50-50. I'm not sure about the guy, right?
Arsenal.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, bro. Right. So what I'm trying to say to you, I won't say same bandit. Somebody's come in and he said he's gone to Italy. The guy changed. He can hold the ball now. He's a different player. That's before we buy him. Yeah. And the guy came in. None of that, bro. It was just a lie. It's just a lie. But again, look, you said you disagree with the people think he's not going to improve. That's your opinion. That's valid. My opinion is different. Listen, the guy is just not good enough. Average. Actually, I'm gonna make a claim now. He's below average. Tony for Bramford, I think is a better player than him. He moves. He's technically good. You know, Avrin Tony for Bramford.
Yeah. Very good player. Very good player.
Yeah, I had him over Lukaku. That's how bad it. It won't cost us 100 million. But what I'm trying to say is the guy is just below average, bro. It's just a fact. The media hyped the guy. He come in there. He think is that bracket of Haaland and Louis. The reality, he's not. Or Karim Benzema or Mo Salah. He's just not. He's a below average player. And obviously Chelsea, like we fought for Torres before, Morata, which is happening over and over again. And that's bad scout, bad investment, bad from the board. And I said to you, it's a wrong signing. I said that even before we signed him more. I told you about my opinion about the guy. But listen, there's no hope there. That's cut our losses. We did that with Kepa, bro. We got him for 72 million, right?
Good point. Kepa, Qasim, sorry. Kepa is a fantastic example. Kepa came, played well. I mean, he came in circumstances and for a price tag that we did not want to pay, but we had to because of the the situation we were with Courtois and Alisson and and all of that. So we had to get Kepa for that record fee at the time for us.
We didn't have to, though. We didn't have to.
But we did. But we did. And he played well until his girlfriend broke up with him. And then he wasn't right up here for for a season and a half.
I'm not sure.
No, it's documented. It's documented. So he was unhappy. He wasn't performing, and he was being replaced by a goalkeeper who's older than Petr Cech. All right, and that's the situation we were in. However, today, Kepa got his personal life back in order, and Kepa is now. People are. I mean, I disagree, but people are saying, we have a battle going on for first place goalkeeper at Chelsea right now. I disagree, but people are saying that they're saying Kepa has turned it around, and he has turned it around. Right now, when Kepa is between the sticks, I'm not as concerned as I used to be. I still prefer Mendy, but if Kepa has to play, I am not as concerned as I used to be, and that is because we had no choice but to stick with him, but to keep on trying until we got to where we got to today. Now, Lukaku, do we do the same with him? Because if we try to sell him now, we are going to lose a big chunk of money, and that was the reason why we didn't sell Kepa. Because firstly, we'd have to, we'd lose a lot of money, and secondly, his wage bill or his wages were very high, and no one would take his wages. And that is the same situation we're going to be with Lukaku, because if we want to sell Lukaku, firstly, a club is going to be prepared to pay his wages, and they got to give us a good price. And before we bought Lukaku, I mean, most of you guys know this. Before we actually signed Lukaku, or the reason why we were able to sign Lukaku, because remember, Lukaku was classed as untouchable by Mr. Here We Go. By Mr. Here We Go, he said Lukaku is untouchable in this transfer window. Right, so for us, Fabrizio Romano, he said Lukaku is untouchable. He is not going nowhere. He's staying at Inter Milan. Let me finish, Qasim. Let me finish. The only reason he was able, or we were able to sign him, is because he went to Inter Milan and said, I want you to increase my wages. I want to renegotiate my contract. And they told him, we can't afford it. This is all we can afford to give you right now. Maybe next season we can look at it. Yeah. And he said, if Chelsea come knocking, I'll go. Because he is looking for the peas. He's looking for the money. So he moved. So for Lukaku to be pushed out of the club, to be sold, firstly, someone's got to pay him the money that he wants. And secondly, we got to get a good price for him. And that is going to be something very hard to achieve. Yeah. Qasim, I'll come back to you, but I want to address Mr. Habib. Habib, welcome to the stream. Let me hear your thoughts, mate. You're on mute. I'm going to unmute you, Habib. Hold on. Okay. Habib, welcome to the stream.
Okay, thank you very much for having me, guys. Okay,
welcome.
I actually want to give you guys a very simple. I'm a car salesman, so let me give you a very typical what Lukaku is like a car salesman. Okay, I bought a car, a 10,000 unique Mercedes-Benz. Obviously, when I bought the car, I know the car was not good. But my intention was to fix the engine and sell the car. So the mistake I made, I was buying part by part by part by part. So eventually I got fed up. Then the guy offered me, listen, let me buy this car off you for the same amount you bought it, 10,000. I said, okay, no problem. At least all the money, I'll stop spending money on this car by fixing it. So he got the car off me for 10,000. Do you know what the guy did? Instead for him fixing the engine, he just bought a new engine, sold the car for $20,000. You see? So sometime in life, it's like you're going through a divorce. Sometimes you just have to cut off your loss and let it go. Because Lukaku is in a state of mind. He doesn't want to be in Chelsea. Sometimes,
Habib,
yes.
one question.
Yeah.
You bought the car for 10,000 and you sold it for 10,000, correct?
Exactly. After spending a few months trying to fix the engine.
Yeah, the only loss you made was the parts that you bought, right?
Exactly.
Like, I don't have a problem with selling Lukaku
Okay, this
for
is what
97.5 million.
No. Actually,
regardless
this is
of
what it is. You see, sometimes we're trying to fix things that we can easily just let it go and cut off our loss. Sometimes we're trying to hold on things thinking we can make it better. It's like you're going through a divorce or you're trying to go through a breakup. You gotta think like you can fix it. You can work it out. Maybe there's more into it than that. Sometimes the simple things in life is just for let it go. There's nothing difficult about it. I think Lukaku, based on his body language, his mind is not there. Is he gonna be good next season? Who knows? That's the gamble we're thinking. We're all thinking, okay, he's a good striker. Maybe next year,
Habib,
maybe next season.
Great point. I want to hear your opinion on this. Do we take that gamble?
No, I'm thinking we should.
Okay.
What it is, as someone said earlier on in the chat, Titi needs to sit down and talk to him. If he says to Tuchel that he doesn't want to be here, it's simple. We shouldn't complicate it. If he feels that he doesn't want to be there, that's the way we can do about it. Speak to the board. This guy does not want to be here. What makes you think that he's going to come up next season? Or maybe in the next 2 months, or next 3 months, or next 3 years? So we actually stuck to something that we probably thinking is going to work, that's not going to work. It's just like a relationship as well. When he's get to that point that the divorce or the breakup has to come, he just have to come. No matter how much therapy or whatever else we're trying to sugarcoat it, if your mind is not there, my brother, it's not going to work. Right. It's the same thing. Bring the best striker in the whole world. Bring Alan to Chelsea. If his mind is not in Chelsea,
let me hear from Bobby.
If his mind is not in Chelsea, he's not going to be a good striker. We all like good strikers. Look at how bad strikers we had in the past. But these people still with us, even though they're not playing for Chelsea anymore, they still follow Chelsea because they understood that the effort really matters, and people saw that in them. Look at Timo. Right. Timo actually is not very good. He himself said it, but you can see him on the pitch.
Timo offers. Sorry, Habib. Timo offers different things. So, for example, we got Timo to score goals. He doesn't score goals, but at least he offers you something else.
Exactly. That's
Lukaku doesn't do that.
Lukaku mind is not there anymore. I think since that interview, I understand it. I'm kind of more or less like bad. You know, sometimes embarrassment, we take it different way. There's some of us can actually swallow it and move on. And some of us, we cannot just let it go. It just stays with us. No matter how much we're trying to do it, it just stays. I think this is exactly what Lukaku is. Lukaku is the kind of person that is emotionally, I think, is not as strong as a player. To be honest with you, we can put so much hope on it. And I guarantee you next season, we're still going to be on this chat talking about Lukaku that we should have sold him. It's just a matter of the ball.
Habib, don't depress me by saying that, man. Don't depress me by saying if we're here next season talking this talk, we're in trouble. Well,
Habib, that's what I'm trying to say to you. Because it's not
stick around. Habib, stick around. Habib.
If you look
stick around. Habib, let me talk. Habib, relax. على كيفك شوية استنى شوية. Habib, listen, mate. I want you to stay, and I want you to take part in this discussion, in this debate. So I want to hear from everyone. I want to give Bobby a chance, and then we're going to go to Hawkeyes, and then we'll go to Boogeyman at the bottom of the screen, and then we'll carry on, because this is a topic that we'll be discussing for at least another hour and a half, 2 hours. So we're going to be here for a while. We'll all have time to get onto this. Bobby, let me hear what we have to say.
Yeah, I mean, you see, what's happened here is what a lot of us were talking about at the beginning of the season, when some of us got short of abused because we were quite open and frank about some of the things that was happening at board level. Not that they were done out of any kind of bad intention, but they were trying to do the right things in the wrong way. At the moment, we can categorically say that Lukaku was a bad buy and is a bad buy. We have the ultimate investment in dead wood. And any fantasy that we're just going to drop this guy and cut our losses is just that, a fantasy. Because the people that bought him are money people, and they will squeeze blood out of a stone if it means getting some value for their investment. Now, having said that, we have to realize that Lukaku is a childish man. He probably always has been, and probably always will.
Say, Spawn.
His rant to Sky Italy, I don't think he wanted to hurt Chelsea. He's so into himself and his own image that he decided, without seeking advice, to go running off his mouth, and he got himself into trouble. And that's not the first time he's run off his mouth. So now he's up a creek without a paddle. Inter fans are against him. Chelsea fans are lukewarm. He is a childish person, and he's spitting his dummy out of the pram, getting all upset about people's perception of him. He doesn't have the mental strength of Drogba or Diego Costa, who would soldier on and let their performances tell the story. Now it's a problem, because what Tuchel has to become is not only a coach, but a psychologist. And he does have to put his arm around him. He does have to, you see, Lukaku is the kind of person that has to feel special. I saw that when he scored his first Stamford Bridge goal, the way he ran to the fans and, put himself out there. It was, oh, look at me, adore me, adore me. Well, we all do that because it's what some strikers do. But to him, that's in his head. And to get it out of his head is only going to be with a lot of emotional attention. Sadly, that's the route we're going to have to go, because like Chris said earlier, this guy's probably going to be here next season. And unless we find a solution to him, he's going to be throwing some of these stinkers every now and then. I just hope that people like Brozier will be around to ensure that he sits on the bench. But having 97 plus million sat on the bench week in, week out is not going to go down well with the board, who bought him in the first place. So it's a problem. And the best way to do it is to get a good psychologist as well as the coach and start trying to get back into this guy's head. Now, the fan base, we as Chelsea fans, we have a part to play in this. And I'm so glad that at Stamford Bridge, people aren't booing him, but they're not cheering him either. And just as Mo said, why should he have that entitlement to expect that? I don't think he should. However, there are some things being said about him on like social media, like Twitter and things like that, which is excessive. There is a content creator stroke, Twitter activist, I call him. I really like the guy, but I think he's over the top about Lukaku. It's almost bordering on hatred, and I don't think we should be there either. The guy is childish.
Bobby, do me a favor. Put him in the private chat. I want to know who you're referring to.
No, I love the guy so much. That's the thing. But I can do that. But, I think he's over the top with Lukaku. It's too much. You have to sometimes just ignore. You don't ignore 7 touches in a game. But, after he scores in the World Club Cup, a brilliant header, still calling him a fraud and things like that. I just think it's not fair. We have a problem. We have to learn how to deal with that problem for the sake of the club, the board and everybody concerned. That's just it. I mean, thank God we have Broja, who's not going to cost us anything, because if not, we'll be well and truly stuck.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I really, really hope we're able to keep him next season, because no clubs are going to be offering monies for him, and I hope we don't sell. I really hope we don't sell. Let's give him at least a season with us. Hawkeyes, before I come to you, Boogeyman is currently at the airport waiting to board his flight back to Canada. So I want to give him a chance to get in, and then I'll come to you, Hawkeyes. So please be patient. Boogeyman, welcome to the stream. I hope you have a safe trip back to Canada. Let me hear your thoughts on this topic, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I wasn't listening to the stream. I just started. I decided to just go in it. And approximately what I wanted to say is what Bobby just said, and eloquently and in a more wise way. Like Bobby has the word and in English to put it up there wisely. I'm not that good, so I will just put it this way. Lukaku, last game, Lukaku just, I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed it, but he was sulking. Like, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm on 350 per week anyways. So I will just, and I'm still here for 5 years anyways. I will get all those money. So I don't care. So I just feel like, I have that feeling from Lukaku yesterday, because it just does not make any sense for all of us. I'm pretty sure we play football before. Someone explained me, how do you have one touch in 45 minutes? No way. I just don't see it happening. It just does not make any sense. My mind is just going crazy right now, trying to understand it. I've played midfielder, okay, of course. I didn't play as a striker. But those statistics is just shameful to say someone we paid 97 million for cannot find a way to touch the ball more than once. I think Lukaku, for me now, is in a position where it's saying, okay, listen, if you don't use me, you will get fired at the end of the year anyways. Like, I'm referring to Tuchel. He's put himself in that position. It's me or Tuchel already. So we fans should pay attention to this and just be on Tuchel's side, because Lukaku want to be adored, Lukaku want to be applauded, want his name to be singing and all those things, but he's not willing to do the minimum sacrifices. Lukaku is not willing to do the minimum tackling, even push. Like, there's a lot of opportunity yesterday for Lukaku to just do 1 or 2 or 3 steps to get close to the ball. He will just stand. The ball is not in between my legs. So why do I have to hustle to get the ball? It's craziness. Anybody that sit down here saying we have to give services, we have to do better services to Lukaku, I just don't know what kind of football we're talking about right now. It's a team sport. It's 11 against 11. Look,
Boogie, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I agree with you. I agree with you that enough is being done. However, yesterday, in a analysis that was done by Match of the Day, they showed a couple of incidents where we could have done more in playing the ball quicker, playing a first pass rather than trying to do too much of it, and get Lukaku that ball quicker. One incident was Malang Sarr passing the ball to Kante. If he had passed it to Lukaku, maybe we'd have had a different outcome, apparently. So the point is, yes, we are doing a lot when it comes to trying to give him service. However, maybe we could do more. And that is what is being said. Now, I agree with you. A world-class striker of his caliber should be doing more himself, because we saw it with Harry Kane again yesterday with against Manchester City, a very tough team. Now, I know Couch Critic earlier said it because it was a different type of game. They were the underdogs. They were the aggressors, etc., etc., etc. But again, a striker can create his own opportunities. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. Listen, you can use the TV, you can use videos and stop the action in time and just analyze it. We all know when you're running with the ball, when you see your teammate, you try to predict what is the teammate trying to do. You're always trying to play. I play midfield. I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are listening to me play that position before. Why do you have the ball? You're running with the ball. You saw your teammate. You saw someone wearing the same kit as you running. You're trying to predict where is this guy going? What is his next move? That's why you put the ball in certain position. Lukaku is not moving. How do you allow me as a midfield to put the ball anywhere? The choice with Malansa, go look at that action again. Malansa was running with the ball. He looked at Lukaku. He was static. When you put that ball to Lukaku, that ball can be intercepted easily. But because you can see Kante running behind another defender, parallel to that defender, you can only put the ball to Kante. It's so easy that way. That's the football.
I agree.
That's how
Manning Saw played the right pass. In my opinion,
exactly.
Manning Saw played the right pass.
I don't understand anybody sitting here and say that ball should go to Lukaku. No, Lukaku making it too easy for defender to predict what's going to happen. So you try to go around the fact that Lukaku making it too easier to just make the whole pass unpredictable by the opponent. So give Manasa that ball today. He will always give it to Kante. They are professional. They have to try to read the mind of their partner on the field. That's what he did. Same as Kai Havertz. People say Kai Havertz has the ball. Lukaku was open. It wasn't given. Yeah, Lukaku was there, but by the time that ball gets to Lukaku, it will get intercepted. That's why you try to give it to someone. At least we still have possession and we still can do something with it instead of just losing possession and trying to chase that ball at a 70-something minutes, 60-something minutes. Do you want to run after the ball? No, you don't. Especially that your coach is saying, we all just come from Abu Dhabi, we have jet lag and all, we all tired. You don't want to run after anybody. You want to keep that possession. Lukaku has to do more, my friends. We need to come to that conclusion. It's not about Chelsea fan fighting again. I understand. The service has to be better, but we should not be.
Boogeyman, is he good enough though? Is he good enough, Boogeyman?
Listen,
come on. He's not world
class. As much as I can say, is he's not good enough. I would like to line myself behind Bobby a little. Saying we need to give him a chance to become better. Because he's not going anywhere.
Boogie, I'm gonna stop you there. And let me hear from Hawkeyes, and then we'll open the chat to everyone. Hawkeyes, I know you've been waiting patiently. Thank you for doing that. Big up to you, guys. Hawkeyes Talks Football is a very, very good channel. He has smashed it. I think you. Yeah, you're on the road to 2,000 subscribers now. Yeah, you smashed 1,000. You know, African Nations Cup. He did some madness during them days there. He doesn't know I've been watching his videos. I've been watching you, mate. I've been watching. No, Hawkeyes, great channel, lads. So if you haven't seen his channel, go check it out. Fantastic content on his channel. He talks about Chelsea. He talks about other games as well. So he's tinkering with his channel. So big up to him. Hawkeyes, let me hear your opinion on Lukaku, man. Let me hear it.
Yeah. So the thing is, for this whole Lukaku issue, I always try to come in from a constructive, kind of place because, it's too lazy to just say get him out of the club. He's not good enough. He's blah. It doesn't make any proper sense because we've signed him for 100 million. We signed a five freaking year contract, so it's just not going to work that way. So let's just think of what we can actually do that would make it better for the squad. And now the thing is, we need to track back a little bit to get more insight about this Lukaku situation. Now, we signed Lukaku because we weren't finishing goals, we weren't, very good at the department of scoring goals. But at the same time, we still have a problem in our midfield. Now, it's easy to say Lukaku has been poor. Yes, I'll tell you all his flaws and I'll tell you all what Lukaku cannot do. He's really poor with his movement. His first touch is not great at all. He sometimes lacks motivation. He cannot even beat players in the air. He cannot, do real good duels, even if he has the physicality to do those. So those are, majority of his flaws. But at the same time, you will not just concentrate on Lukaku's flaws and not also address the fact that we need to be more creative. We need to be more direct. We need to be more urgent on the ball. Now, I put the flaws of Lukaku forward first so that you understand that I'm not saying Lukaku is good enough or something, but I'm just telling you that we still have the problem of our urgency in that squad. We're so slow with the ball. Now, the last game we had, Lukaku had how many touches? 7 touches. Now, that is not just to tell you about Lukaku. It's also supposed to tell you about the midfield we had in that game. Now, most of you would just, focus on the fact that, oh, he had 7 touches. How would the player have 7 touches? Now, where is the midfield? Like, how would your midfield make you get 7 touches? Now, it's one thing if they gave him the ball and he lost control of the ball several times. That's fine. Then we understand that, oh, you don't pass to that guy. But they didn't pass the ball to him as well. Probably because they thought he would lose the ball, but the midfield is the first thing. And now I totally understand why he had 7 touches. In the next game, he will have another 7 touch if we play the same way we played that yesterday. In next 100 games, he will have only 7 touches or maybe even less if we play with that midfield structure we played. Because now those 2 midfielders do not even make direct passes to the strike. They do not make direct passes they make sideways passes, and they're not even, I don't know, should I say, confident enough to make passes through the lines. Kovačić came in 1 minute. Kovačić came in the 70. In a microsecond, he found Lukaku. Now, that is a midfielder. Now, I totally agree with what Kasim is saying, because he's like, Lukaku is playing awful, really awful. But it takes good midfielders to actually unlock this player. It takes good midfielders to actually put him into the play. He's awful, remember. He could make things easier for the midfield. He can drop deep a little bit more. He can come down a little bit more, give Kante the freedom to pass to him. He can come deeper a little bit more, give Jorginho the chance to pass, but he's hiding behind the center backs, which is something he needs to improve on. You need to come out from that shell, give these people that are not brave enough to make passes through the lines, give them a chance to find you. Lukaku doesn't give them that chance. He makes, I don't know what kind of run he's making behind the back line. Only proper, brave, talented midfielders would always find Lukaku. And that is why it's no coincidence Kovačić always finds him. No coincidence at all. Kovačić always finds him. Those direct passes, not wasting time left and right. Kovačić is already looking at where he wants to pass that ball before he gets the ball, and immediately he's throwing that pass. And that is the kind of midfielder. To be honest, I'll just tell you, Lukaku's best friend is just Kovačić, because, he doesn't have a good movement. And the thing is, the earlier you understand these things, the easier it is for you to just accept the player we have at the club. Is really poor with the first touch. So he would never be comfortable to come into the middle of the pitch to get the ball, because he has a bad first touch. Not like it's a good thing, of course. It's a very awful thing. Is it worth 100 million? Of course not. Of course not. He's not worth 100 million. Not 100 million striker should be able to play people into play, do stuff. But that's just the market we're in right now. Now, if you're expecting him to play like, Kane, or you're expecting him to play like Prime Hazard or something, I'm sorry, it will never happen. And the thing is, in our team right now, the way we play, the system we play, we can never use Lukaku to the best of his abilities because he has so many flaws. So the thing is, at the end of the day, we're just retreating him to be a poacher the way we play, because we play players on the right flank. We have Ziyech there that commands the right flank. At the end of the day, subconsciously, Lukaku is just playing as a poacher. He just, mentally is drained. Mentally, he's lost form. He's done the interview. He's turned the old fans against himself. So he's just a very high, like a high mountain for him to actually climb right now. So it's a paradox of so many things. But I will not just come here and say Lukaku is the problem at Chelsea. We still have a midfield issue to solve. We played just now, yesterday. Oh, no, the game, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? We played how many backs? 4 center backs, 4 center backs. And we played 2 midfielders. That's about 6 players that are defensive minded, because Jorginho and Kante are both defensive minded players. They do not offer anything going forward. They don't. And we played 4 center backs again who are also defensive minded. Like, how on earth do you want the attackers to even have a good football?
Are you blaming the system, bro?
Oh, no. Look, now it's not the system. It's the players in the system. What is a system when you play 4 back lines? What is that system when you cannot have crosses from the left back, from the right back? What is a system?
Okay. 1 second. Listen, people, before I address Jorge's comments, I've put a link to his channel in the chat. Do me a favor, go click on that link, go subscribe, and come back. Let's get him to 2,000 subscribers as quickly as possible.
Whoa.
So he's made some very, very valid points. Very, very, very valid points, and I want to address them. But guys, the link is in the chat for Jorge's channel. Go subscribe and come back. You won't regret it, trust me. Jorge's, listen. I know what you're saying in regards to the game yesterday. I know there's a time difference from where you are to where we are, so it might be 2 days for you. It's 1 day for us. It was yesterday for us.
Yeah.
We had injuries. We have injuries, and that's why we played 4 centre backs in regards to our left back and our right back, being Christensen and Malang Sarr, who are centre backs who were made to play as full backs. Therefore, we had to do what we had to do because of the lack of players. Now, you can argue and say maybe Chalobah should have played instead of Christensen, but it's neither here or there. They're both centre backs. So I can understand also the formation. Now, the formation, as per Tuchel, it was a 4-1-4-1 system. Now, yes, Kante is a defensive-minded midfielder. Therefore, he probably played behind or just ahead of Jorginho rather than playing, with the other midfielders. So I understand what you're saying in respect to there was a lot of defensive players on that pitch. 6 of the players, half of the team were defenders, okay, and or defensive minded. Therefore, it wasn't very good for chance creation. However, we did see Hakim Ziyech have a fantastic game when it came to chance creation. We saw Pulisic and Havertz, they had okay games. They weren't the best, but they had okay games. We also saw Rudiger driving from the back and pinging in across the field diagonal passes. So there was some good play in that game. I agree with you. It wasn't the best when it came to attack, and that's why we only scored 1 goal in the last minute of the game. That being said, this issue wasn't just born out of the last game. We've had that issue for quite some time, and yes, injuries has played a part. The system, the tactics, all these different aspects have all played a part when it comes to the way we address the attack. However, we do have a problem with Lukaku. Yeah. We do have a problem, and I agree with you. We should address the midfield. We should address the other avenues. And this is why I'm saying, and I believe that both need to be done. We need to find a way for Lukaku to fit our system. And we also need to find a way that our system can cater for Lukaku. People are saying, look, he's a £97.5 million striker. He should be able to play in any system, blah, 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 blah. No, it doesn't work like that. And at the same time, saying that he can't do that, no, there has to be a middle ground. There has to be a little bit of give and take from our system and from him, because he needs to adapt. He needs to adapt to our system, and our system can then adapt more to his style of play. The problem is we're not seeing a Lukaku that is mentally right now, and this is the problem. If he was mentally right, then we can address all of these things. But because we're seeing his body language, we're seeing his motivation is lacking. Therefore, we're raising this question. And in her case, I agree with most of what you said there. You highlighted some fantastic areas. I wanna also bring in Showtime. He just jumped on. Showtime. Anyone who doesn't know who Showtime is, he's Lukaku's #1 fan. I'm just saying it before he speaks. Showtime is Lukaku's #1 fan and Marina Granovkaia fan as well. So Showtime, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the stream.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening to everyone as well. Greetings to you.
Good evening, Hawkins. Showtime. Good evening, Showtime. Showtime, let me hear it, man. This is the topic that I was expecting you to start the stream with me, man. But you're late, that's all good. It's all good.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. He played yesterday wasn't his best performance at all. I can agree to say that. If I was like, I can't save him this time. This one he didn't perform to his expectations. But we also got to look at the factors. 7 touches. You only sending the ball to him 7 times, and only 1 time was when we started the match. That is not how you feed somebody. You cannot. You can say he's not doing enough, but you also the blame has to be on either you're gonna blame the system or you're gonna play the players he's around. Because if we're gonna play, you notice that the way we play, we send the ball to the wings every time. That's how we build our attack, from the wings. How is that helping Lukaku? And when the crosses don't get in the box, you can't expect him to do anything as well. We have to do better of feeding him the ball. I made this analogy or this metaphor simply: when you give somebody in need something, do you just throw it to them, or do you just go to them and give it to them? You have to serve him on a platter. He deserves that. He needs the chances. We haven't given him the chances at all. This game alone, he didn't do enough, but we didn't do enough to give him the ball. The midfield, Kai Havertz, Hakim Ziyech attempted to, but those balls that sometimes Kai Havertz that Hakim Ziyech gives to Lukaku with the crosses, it's not reaching Lukaku. It's going over Lukaku's head. You can't expect him to. Can't reach the sky. You have to place it on a platter. Place it on a platter. But I can't. Yesterday, I was appalled by his performance. 7 touches, 97 million. And everybody speaks about it. Oh, come on, that's not gonna win us. He's not gonna perform like that if you don't feed him the ball. You just expect him to do press, start presses or pressure from the defensive half, and then you expect him to turn around and make runs or drop deep. You guys want him to drop deep when he's a striker. Drop deep and do what? We need him to face the goal and shoot the ball, score goals. You want him to score goals, you got to feed him the ball. And you can't tell me that Kai Havertz played a good game yesterday. The only thing that he did well was losing the ball and going back on defense and trying to get the ball back for us. That's about it. And he had about how many fouls did he have doing that? We have to do. And Tuchel, I'm gonna say this: I want him to stay, but he has to find a way to play with Lukaku.
Hold on. Short time. I gotta stop you, mate. You want Tuchel to stay if he can find a way to play with Lukaku? And if he can't, he should go?
No, it's not if he can't, he should go. One is going to have to go.
Lukaku?
Okay. If he goes, senorita, bye-bye. You know, I'm for the club. I'm not for one player. If he goes, he goes. But right now, he has to find a way to play with Lukaku. Because as of right now, he's going to keep starting. There's no way Lukaku's going to get dropped. As long as we keep winning, he's not getting dropped.
Short time. I don't think we need to make that kind of statement right now, because it isn't going to be beneficial for either. Because if it's either Tuchel or Lukaku, I think you'll find that everyone will be going towards Tuchel. And I don't want to see us having to choose, because I personally believe the future of Chelsea Football Club, the development of this team, the squad, to be up there, every single season, to get the title, within a couple of seasons, we need to have Tuchel at the helm. Tuchel is a fantastic manager and is the one that I have faith in. All right, now this one second. Lukaku for me, he's also a fantastic striker who is currently playing below par. I believe we need to find a way to get him to perform in the way that you and I both believe he can. The difference is, I think that he has to improve for him to stay. I am not going to have Lukaku stay at my club if he isn't able to perform. Now, I don't know where Qasim has gone, but Qasim said he should leave. I don't think Lukaku should leave. I think we should try to get him to perform, because we know he can. And we have seen it in the past with other players who are going through a bad patch, mentally, in their personal life. If we are able to overcome that, 2 things is going to happen. One, he's going to feel good that his club stuck by him through the hardship that he was going through. And it's going to push him even harder to succeed for that club, because he believes this is the club that he needs to be loyal to, because the club was loyal to him in his time of need. Now, I know you guys are going to be saying, "Oh, this is all, what's the word here? Ethics and da-da-da-da." No, it's true. When you work for a company and that company sticks by you when you're injured, when you're ill, when you're having personal issues, and that company sticks by you and still pays you and gives you the chance and the time to overcome that issue, you're going to work a lot harder for that company, and you're going to make sure that you do the best for that company, and that's what Lukaku is going to do for us if we stick by him. But at the same time, we need to see him adjust and to and adapt. Let me hear from Bobby, and then I'll go to Josh B, who just came in. Go on, Bobby.
Thank you so much. Really, first of all, about this midfield issue, we did have a production line going through the midfield, which came from Chilwell and James, and they're both injured. So the whole lack of midfield service and penetration is a squad depth issue that I'm sure we're going to deal with in the summer. However, my second point is I was trying to address some of the Chelsea fan base that were, I felt, perhaps being a little bit too unfair and too persistent to Lukaku. But if we're going to have people coming on here saying it is either Tuchel or Lukaku, I want to promise you that if we are down to that, I will personally join forces with anybody and go all out to get Lukaku out of this club. There is no match. So just get this one straight. Lukaku, Tuchel is Tuchel all day effing long. Don't come with this nonsense. We have to get him to play. Part of that is him. And if he doesn't want to be at the club and he's threatening the manager, then he has got to go. And I promise you, the fans at Stamford Bridge will start booing the shit out of him. So don't even go there. What are we talking about?
Look, it's already in the air, though. The media is already questioning
your air.
The media is already questioning his system. Every time that Lukaku doesn't perform, they ask him, "Is it the system?" How many matches now that he's asked him?
Keep banging that drum. Keep banging that drum, and watch what's going to happen at the bridge.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens at the bridge. Is what the media is portraying, that it's Tuchel's system already. And you know what happens when the manager falls out with the media.
Short time. I got to interrupt you here. Look, we have seen the media hitting us whichever way we turn. The media is always going to be against Chelsea Football Club. Two players.
Can I?
1 second. Two players. They get into a little bit of a argument on the training ground. One journalist takes the argument and blows it well out of proportion. There's fighting, internal fighting between the Chelsea players, because two players had a slight incident on the training ground. This is going to happen to Chelsea Football Club regardless. If Lukaku was scoring hat-tricks every single game, they will still talk about something. They will find something to talk about. Therefore, saying this, the media can do whatever they want to do. And they will do whatever they want to do. End of the day, we're not going to be thinking about the media, because if we think about the media, we're not going to get nothing done. I'm going to just, Jorge, I want to get a couple of these guys in, and because I'm getting people to jump in. I've got the link in the chat, guys. Anybody wants to jump in, you're welcome to do so. There's a guy here called...
Mo, can I say something quick? I need to go in 1 minute. I'll go. My internet is not good. Yeah, I need to go now.
Go on.
Listen, what I would like to say is simple. Lukaku is here to stay. He has 5 years contract. And if I was Lukaku, like 350,000 a week, I'm now ready to give up on 1 cent from that money. So I'm going to stay. If Chelsea won't play me, I will sit on the bench like Gareth Bale is doing at Real Madrid. So Lukaku is here to stay. Let's just get that out of our way. The problem is,
so we have to use him. We have to learn how. We have to.
There's no other solution. What do you think? How Gareth Bale stay?
Boogie man, I've lost you. Boogie. Yeah, Boogie, internet connection. We've lost you.
Oh, is it better now?
Okay, you're back.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is Gareth Bale is still Real Madrid player. He's not playing. Lukaku will do the same thing with Chelsea. So don't even try to think other ways. The thing is we have to play him one way or the other. My worry is simple. We just need to make sure that the coach is part of our long-term project. So that is where the board has to figure this out. Me, I cannot. Me, I will be here. Every time Lukaku perform good, I will say Lukaku has really good, has done good today. And I like what he did. But when he doesn't perform good, I will tell Lukaku you know what I'm going to say, it's just not good. And I'm not going to say not good. I will say what other people were saying. So it's just, that's the way it's going to be for the next 2-3 years, because he's going to be here. So that's all I can say. And thanks for having me. And Chelsea fan, we need to buckle, because the next 3 years is going to be a funny one with Lukaku leading our attack.
You need to buckle. You're going to get on a plane with Younes Hurricane in the air, mate. So hopefully you'll get back to Canada safely and in one piece.
Yeah,
big up to you, Boogie, man. Talk to you soon. Take care, Boogie. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Let me hear from Kante. Kante, I know your name is a little bit long, but let's just go with Kante. Big up to you. Welcome. Yeah, I'm good. Where you calling from?
I'm from Derby. I've hopped on, I think, before the Chelsea-Spurs game a couple of months ago. I hopped on then. I don't know if you remember, because you've got.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Let me hear your thoughts, man. Yeah,
just to confirm, we're talking about Lukaku, aren't we? Because I hopped on a bit late.
We are. Yeah. I mean, and if you read the title of the video, it's really, it explains itself. So we want to know, should Chelsea change the way that they play to suit Lukaku, or should Lukaku change the way he plays to suit Chelsea? Pretty much, in a nutshell.
I mean, in my opinion, I don't think it's a case of either Tuchel or Lukaku. As Boogeyman said perfectly, I think we have to get them both involved. In this current market, only five, not even five clubs can afford Lukaku if we're looking to offload him. So there's no point of us trying to get Lukaku out the club if no one's willing to pay, because I think for the board, we need at least 70 to 80 mil if we're planning to sell him, which no one will buy for, like in this current form that he's playing in. So we have to get, number one, Tuchel's a priority. I think he's bigger than any player here, in my opinion. So there shouldn't be a debate even about Lukaku and Chelsea, but for Lukaku's sake, it has to be both of them, because there is no point of us trying to decide whether he should leave, because no one will buy him. I don't see, Haaland's going to be on a free soon. No one wants Lukaku over Haaland right now. Mbappe is going to be on a free. No one wants Lukaku over Mbappe. So I think Chelsea.
Sorry, just a correction. Mbappe will be on a free, but Haaland will be on a release clause.
Sorry, yeah. Release clause, yeah. But every club will be looking for him that can afford him. I think people can afford Lukaku, but no one will want him, in my opinion. People can afford Haaland, but everyone will want him. That's the sort of case that I'm on about.
Yep.
So we have to utilize him. He is our top man. He is our number 9. So we can't just say, we got to let him rot on the bench. Obviously, I don't want him to start every game if he's like this, but we can clearly see the board has told Tuchel something that he needs to play. Otherwise, because if it was a case of the board letting Tuchel decide, Havertz would have started. Havertz, Werner and Mount, or Havertz, Werner and Ziyech would have started. But Lukaku sort of got this automatic place due to his price tag, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I see the board sort of style of thinking, because there's no point of thinking that we can let Lukaku rot on the bench, but then he's not going to score anyway. So if we play him, he might get those goals, can't he? So I think it's a case of getting them both involved, as I've said. I'm not going to waffle on too long, but yeah, I think getting them both involved will be the best for the club. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of conflict, with a split in the dressing room, and we don't want that with Tuchel. He's our best manager that we've had since Jose, in my opinion. So getting that balance right will be perfect to lead that title win.
Spot on. Yeah, couldn't have said it better, mate. Spot on.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay and get involved in the discussion.
I'll stay on. Yeah.
Sweet. I know Josh B is away for a little bit, so let me hear from Z. Z, tell me where you're from and tell me your thoughts. Welcome.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, Z. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from South Africa.
Welcome, Z. Welcome. Let me hear your thoughts on this topic, mate.
From all right, before I begin, right, we're talking about Romelu Lukaku and the whole situation and all of that, right?
Correct.
But when I look at it, right, when Lukaku came at first, he was scoring goals. He was doing what a striker would normally do. Then the interview happened. Now I see every Chelsea fan is saying Lukaku is this, Lukaku is that, he's not scoring goals, and all of that. But apparently, the whole reason that interview came on was because Lukaku was not being played at that moment. So he was just voicing out his opinion of saying that, okay, fine,
No,
since Chelsea doesn't want to play me,
no,
I'm
that
not
wasn't the
sure, but
case. That wasn't the case. No,
uh,
no. The whole interview was actually done by Sky Italia because he wanted to address the Inter Milan fans because he left under circumstances that were a little bit what's the word here? A little bit unclear. A little bit, yeah, unclear is the best way to describe it to Inter fans. And he wanted to address the Inter fans to try to mend bridges between him and them. And by doing so, he actually broke some bridges between him and the Chelsea fans. In regards to what you said about him not being played, he did mention that in the opening remarks to his interview. He said that he is looking to adjust to the system. He is looking to get involved
yeah,
more because so he did mention that, but that wasn't the reason
yeah,
why he made the interview. It was more towards the Inter Milan fans. Carry on, my man. Carry on.
yeah, yeah. So I was just trying to point out that, like, the interview as a whole, it was just basically Lukaku, obviously, like you said, fixing issues with Milan. He was trying to have a fresh start as a Chelsea player to let Inter Milan know his issue. Then he came in. All right, the interview came, backlash happened. Now Lukaku's no more scoring. His first touches are bad, and so forth. So, in my defense to Lukaku, I think that what is happening right now is to some degree because of us as Chelsea fans blaming Lukaku for what he did and the stuff of Inter and whatever. Yes, he is playing bad. I agree. His first touches are poor. He's not the Lukaku of Inter. That is for sure. But ever since the interview, obviously, like, he's lost all of his strength. So my opinion was that based on his recent game plays, Lukaku is not moving, he's not running, he's not doing anything. He's basically, to me, I see him as a Cristiano Ronaldo, just a guy who waits and scores. So
Well,
my opinion was that
Ronaldo scores. Ronaldo scores. If Lukaku can wait and
no,
score, I have no issue.
yeah, that, like, I was saying that let's build a system where players would work hard and do Lukaku's job and supply him the ball while Lukaku just poaches and score the goal. End of the season, you send him out, you sell him. Because at this point, Lukaku doesn't want to be at Chelsea, and it's a mess for him in the club as well. So I don't see a solution. Just let him be a poacher. Let the paper sell. Romelu Lukaku scores a goal, and then a big club will buy him, sell him, and then get a good striker. That's it.
Z, I love your optimism. I love your optimism, Z. Thank you very much. I think I wish it was that easy and it was that simple. And if it was, we can get over it and move on and continue developing and building our attack. But I think we are going to have to suffer a little bit before we resolve the Lukaku issue.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take time. Z, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time. And if you want to stick around, you're welcome to do so. Let me go to Josh B. You're welcome, Z. Josh, are you there or are you still not around? Josh? All right, Josh is not here. All right. Listen, panel.
Okay.
Let me hear what you guys have to say about what you've heard so far.
Yeah. So, first of all, I wanted to talk about the the interview thingy where they asked Tuchel, I guess they asked him, "Is this a problem with the system?" And it was like, of course, no. That what is happening with Lukaku is not a system problem. Of course, I know everyone would look at it and probably direct it to Lukaku. Personally, I do not feel the system is wrong. Sometimes I feel the approach is a little bit too slow and too indirect sometimes. But at the same time, I feel like if you have the best players in the system, we would thrive. We might not enjoy what we're seeing, but we would definitely thrive. So we're having lots of players that are not suited to a good system, which makes it look like the system is bad. So it's not when they ask when they ask Tuchel the question, is it the system? It'll be like, of course, no, it's not the system. It is probably the players in the system, and it's quite understandable because the whole lineup, the whole thingy. I don't think anyone should expect the best from that lineup we had. And in general, what everyone has been saying about the Lukaku situation, I feel like he needs to do a lot more. I think everyone agrees with that. But at the same time, I feel like he's in a place where he's mentally, how would I say, what's the word to use? Is not really in a good mental space at the moment. So, like, regardless, you cannot see the best from him. That's why, preferably, I would have loved it if he sat on the bench, like to regain some kind of mental backing or some kind of relaxation on the bench, see how things are going, look at the game, see how to improve, not just pumping and pumping him and pumping him, giving him bad games after bad games. So that is just my only.
Can I just pop in on that, please?
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of Lukaku playing bench, remember last season, Timo came on. He was playing bad, he wasn't scoring goals, but Tuchel still gave him a chance in the end. So I feel like Tuchel is doing the same thing with Lukaku. Lukaku is a world-class striker. He's not like Timo. He can score. That is why Tuchel still has faith in that. And that's why I think he's trying to build that back to Lukaku. So I just want to say that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like personally, I took my time to understand the kind of striker Romelu Lukaku is, and the way we play currently, the slow build up and everything. Because first of all, you need to understand his flaws. The way we play currently, I do not see us taking or getting the best out of Romelu Lukaku in any way, and that is because he is not the striker, of course, that fits the system we play. Now, I don't know if it's fair to talk about other players, but if you had, an Harry Kane in this system, he would fit it perfectly because he's good on the ball, he's good with the passes, he's good with all of this stuff. But and like with the same poor midfield and poor, injured wingers we have, at least Harry Kane can get into the play. But for Lukaku on the other hand, it's like in this system, I do not think it will work. The only way we would see good games from Lukaku is if he successfully puts the ball at the back of the net, or if he can, somehow gives an assist, or if the delivery is good enough and he can, end up putting the ball into the back of the net. But in the way we play right now, probably without Kovacic in the midfield, we would see the same style of football, and it's hard because its flaws doesn't just make it work with the system. That's why, when I'm thinking like, how can we get the best from Romelu Lukaku in this system? It's just really hard. That's why at the same time, when we try to say, can we make him, suit the system? It's also very hard because his strengths are in a different system totally. So that's what I'll just have to say.
Two things I have to add.
Okay, hold on one second. I just don't understand. Are you guys watching the stream not enjoying it because you're not hitting the like button? You're not hitting the like button. So if you're not enjoying it, I can end the stream. I can end it. We'll all go home and just chill and watch TV. And I mean, we're here discussing this, and if you guys are watching, all I ask you to do is a simple click. There's 140 of you watching the stream right now. Just click like. It would mean a lot. And if you're enjoying the content, subscribe, because you're going to get a lot more of this content literally daily. I mean, we're streaming tomorrow for the preview of the Chelsea Champions League. We're doing the preview tomorrow. So if you enjoy this content, subscribe. You won't regret it. Listen, there's a couple of you trying to get on, but you're stuck in the back area. So if there might be a connection issue. There's somebody called if anyone. I can see you in the back area, but you need to sort out your connection because it's not letting me bring you on. Eric Blue has just jumped in. I'm going to say hello to Eric Blue. Once we hear from Eric Blue, I'll open it again to the rest of the panel. And guys, don't wait for me to introduce you into the debate. You're welcome to jump in. Just give Eric Blue a couple of minutes to say what he's got to say, and then we'll continue. We're going to be here for about half an hour more. So everyone is going to get a chance to give their opinion. Eric Blue, you're 2 hours late, but welcome to the stream. How are you, Eric?
Better late than never.
Yeah, I guess. True. Welcome.
Yeah,
Eric, you've read the questions in the title. How should we move forward with Lukaku? Because we need to move forward with Lukaku. So let me hear it.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to work out. I've changed my mind like 3 times with this Lukaku thing. The first initial, the immediate reaction was, there's no future for him. I don't see any kind of positive outcome with Lukaku. But then I thought, you know what? If he performs well, maybe he can turn things around. Everything was based on his performances, right? Everything was based on how well he could move on from the negativity around his interview. But he hasn't done it. And the way I'm seeing things, he won't. Or he won't do it anywhere near, fast enough for things to turn around. So I think it won't change. I think we have too many issues with the team. Lukaku is an easy scapegoat for me, even though all the issues people have with him are valid. Every criticism that you can use against him is correct, but he's also the easy scapegoat. So I think he will be moved on. I think
Eric, just on the scapegoat bit. Earlier we had Hawkes speaking, and he spoke about the midfield. Maybe they need to do more chance creation avenue. Do you agree that, because apparently a lot of pundits are saying that Chelsea are they're not feeding the ball the right way. Maybe they are feeding it to Lukaku on a regular basis, but they're not doing it in the right way, in the right system. Do you think there is some truth to that? Because there's quite a few people are coming with that opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I remember last season with Werner, we were saying that we're not really playing to Werner's strengths.
Yep.
Werner was not being played in a way that would get the best out of him, which is just the truth. And yes, he isn't good enough. Everybody knows he's not good enough. But, the reality was we're also not getting the best out of him. And I think it's the same thing with Lukaku. So that's why I say he's the easy scapegoat, because there are issues with this team that go beyond, just one player. And we saw these issues before he came in. So I think, yes, you can say the players could try to get the best out of him by playing certain passes. Maybe we can improve the creativity with our team. Maybe we need a better personnel for that. But I think we will probably just conclude that Lukaku is not the person for the future, right? He's not the person we can rely on for the future, and we'll move on from him. And yes, we'll get those players to help us going forward, create chances. But yeah, we will also. I think Lukaku will be, he'll be moved to the background. He won't be one of the main players anymore. Maybe not so much like Kepa, but something similar. And then we'll get somebody else in, and then we'll just move on from there.
Eric, I think you said it pretty good. We got a lot of problems in the club. It's honestly not just Lukaku. But But I think the reason why you use the word scapegoat for him is because he's got the big mouth, right? He's the only one that came out to come talk about, oh, I'm a big guy. You should play to my strength. And that's why we, the fans, are coming for his back right now. Like, I love Lukaku. And, back to my point, like I said yesterday, midfield lacks the creativity. I do appreciate and I love the work Kante does, but I don't see, I know I'm going to offend a lot of fans here, but there's a limitation when it comes to utilizing the ball going forward with Kante, especially
Not
having
offending.
Jorginho on the side.
Hold on.
I'm not offended.
No, I agree. We have a problem, and this is one of the issues. I mean, we've seen Kovačić being able to distribute the ball better.
Yeah.
And when he's on the pitch, he's able to create more. And possibly a better avenue for Lukaku to score is when Kovačić is on the pitch, because Jorginho, sideways passes, dominating the midfield, controlling tempo, but forward passes, no. Kante is very good when it comes to breaking up play. Sorry, just 1 second, guys. All right. Somebody's trying to jump in. Try again. When it comes to Kante, trying to break up play, fantastic. But for the build-up play and creating opportunities, lacking. Therefore, there isn't enough in midfield to support Lukaku. I agree in respect to that. But you said something which I didn't hear. You said that Lukaku spoke out about this. He didn't. Lukaku didn't specifically mention that he isn't getting fed enough, unless I've missed it.
Oh no, what I meant was he came up, talking about the interview of, okay, we are not playing to his strength. He wanted to go back to Inter Milan, and I'm saying,
but he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
He didn't.
Okay.
He didn't say that. He said,
okay.
Tuchel chose to change the system. He just has to be professional about the system being changed. That's all he said. And
correct.
And I think that going back to how he started the season, if Tuchel goes back to playing at the 3 at the back with the 4 in the middle and the 2 behind and 2 and then Lukaku 3-4-2-1 is gonna suit Lukaku. Why not go back to that? We was playing well with that system. Why all of a sudden?
But regardless of his strength,
the only player that's missing from that is Reece James, because we had Alonso. Alonso. When we played Arsenal and Crystal Palace, we had Alonso on the left. We didn't have
that. Doesn't stop him from controlling the ball, pressing the ball, winning area balls. Regardless of
wait. Lukaku presses the ball. He's second on the team. Yeah, behind Mason Mount. That's the only player above him when it comes to presses.
Oh.
I think
I have to disagree. I've not seen Lukaku press the ball.
He doesn't press enough.
I don't think he was talking about
not effectively.
He presses,
up the ball.
Not enough intensity.
He doesn't retain the ball.
Percentage-wise, he has 30. Yeah. He actually leads us in percentage when it comes to pressures. 33%.
I don't think he was talking about.
But doesn't press fast enough. He doesn't press fast enough.
Showtime. I don't think. I don't think he was talking about the
guys. One at a time, please.
Do you mind?
Just 1 second. Let me just bring in Tyrone, and then we'll continue after Tyrone. Let's restore his opinion. But guys, I know everybody wants to speak, and I promise you, I'll give you all a chance to speak. But once somebody takes the mic, let him carry on until he finishes, or until I stop him, and then somebody else jumps in, because otherwise it's going to get out of control. So Tyrone, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Let me hear your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Lukaku, when it comes on to Lukaku, my standpoint has not changed. I think he can do something, but I think like you guys were mentioning in the interview, I think it's a case where a lot of content creators were saying that he apologized. It looks PR. I think a lot of people can agree that it looks planned. And I think it's a case where he knows that he has to apologize on the pitch, because pure apology is not going to sit well with everybody in the fan base. So obviously, I think he has that added pressure to himself. And I mean, he looks disinterested. He looks like he's there. He just doesn't care. He's getting paid his money, so he doesn't really care if the team is doing well, as long as he's getting his paycheck. He doesn't care. But I think for me, he's added pressure to himself. It's a case where he's in a position where he knows that if he doesn't perform, no more than ever after seeing that the team isn't playing to his strengths, or probably that's not the right word to use, but the team is using a different system to what he's used to, or what can get the best out of him. He has that pressure, but at the same time, it's more than that, because he's not even trying. He used to be trying to jump for the ball, and he only does that maybe 1 or 2 times in a game. But he doesn't press anymore. He just stays at the goal, and he's becoming a goal hanger. He doesn't help the team anymore. He just tends to stay in the opponent's box and then hopes that the ball will come to him.
All right. Tyrone, Josh, are you back? Because I haven't heard from you yet. Josh.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Josh. Wow, you took your time, man. Welcome, Josh. Josh, let me hear your thoughts on this topic, and then we'll kick off after you finish.
Lukaku. Well, Lukaku, I watched him yesterday. I went to the match at Selhurst Park.
Fantastic.
Yeah, me and my friend, we were just sitting there.
Tell me this. Were you wearing the Blue Lounge baseball cap? Yeah, all right. Fantastic. Big up to you. All right, carry on.
Yeah, me and my friend were watching the game, and he told me, was Lukaku playing? And I looked up, and I'm like, bro, I don't even know. Lukaku, I couldn't see him. I could not. I couldn't see him coming, like linking up with a play. I couldn't even. He didn't even get a shot on target.
Yes, a couple.
He did.
Couple, yeah.
But he needs to finish. He has to have an end product to it, and he does
it. To be fair, both shots on target were with him in an offside position. However, they were well. What's the word here? There were good opportunities. Unfortunately, it is what it is. It's a football game.
Yeah, and the thing about Harry Kane, I was gonna say Harry Kane also comes in and links up the play. Like yesterday, he came to midfield area. He came to link up the play, got the ball, switched it to Son, and they were through. And then Son laid it off, and then they got a goal. Lukaku doesn't do that. He waits in the box, and you'll always think Ziyech was going to give him the ball or whip in the ball so that he gets the ball and he shoots. But sometimes he needs to come and link up. And I think Werner does that. Havertz sometimes does that. But Lukaku, I don't see him doing that. And I think that's what I think he needs to do, link up play.
All right. Yeah, I see where you're going with this. And this is the same argument that was made before. He needs a second striker to play alongside him, and that's what he had Inter Milan with Lautaro Martinez. Maybe he needs someone close to him to, for lack of a better word, feed him. Maybe he needs to be fed by someone who's closer to him. And I think Lautaro Martinez was very good at doing that because of his style of play. We do have a couple of players in our team that could mimic that. I think Timo Werner could possibly do that. I think Kai Havertz could possibly do that. But it's going to take a while. You can't build chemistry like that quickly. It's going to take you a little bit of time. And it's got to take a bit of coaching as well. I think the coaching staff need to build that between the players. And one thing that I think was it Alan Shearer or it might have been Ian Wright. He said they need to work on this in training. In training, they need to develop this. And the fact that we're seeing these errors is because not enough is being done in training to fix this or to address this. Guys, you've heard from everyone. And I'm going to open up to you guys to give me the solution. What is the solution to this problem? Let me hear a solution. Don't tell me he can't do this and he can't do that. Tell me what we should do to fix it, because we know what he can't do. Now, how do we fix it?
Yeah, can I go first?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, okay. So before I go, I just wanted to respond to what Showtime said about changing it back to a back five formation. I think,
Sorry, Eric. Tuchel already addressed this in his press conference. He said
yeah,
it doesn't matter what we play at the back. He's
yeah,
always got four men behind him in attack. He's always got four
yeah,
men behind him in attack. He's already addressed that.
yeah.
Go on.
He did. And just to add to that, I think when Lukaku was talking about the system, I don't think he was talking about the formation because we were still playing a back three when he said it, right? So he couldn't have been saying that Tuchel changed the formation because we were still using the same formation. Maybe he meant the way we were playing wasn't the way he plays for Belgium or the way he played when he was at Inter, right? But in terms of how you get the best out of him moving forward, like you said, I think someone needs to be closer to him. That would help. Whether it's Lukaku, whether it's Havertz, whether it's Werner, somebody needs to be close to him to help him. Maybe have some kind of link play with him, and that could work. And I think maybe a 4-2-2-2 formation might work. I don't think what Tuchel did against Crystal Palace is the way forward. Where Pulisic played, I don't know if that's I don't think that's
Yeah, I wasn't happy with that either.
yeah. And then Havertz on the left. I'm not sure what Tuchel was trying to do with that, but maybe Havertz is the potential partner for Lukaku up front. We just need to see some kind of partnership potentially. Maybe Havertz isn't. I don't know. Maybe Werner is, but Werner hasn't been playing. Tuchel only tried Werner and Lukaku together once against Juventus, and I don't think we've seen it since then. So I don't know what Tuchel's plan is there, but I think it seems like the solution would have to be some kind of personnel change. Because I'm not sure the players we have right now can help him improve what he's doing. And I think the most important thing is what he's doing. I don't think he's doing enough. No matter what we try to change to suit him, I don't think it's worth it right now because he's not playing anywhere near where, the level that he showed earlier on in the season. So that's it.
Yeah, so I can jump in next, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hear everything Eric is saying, and I'm like, yeah, it's we need that combination play, but personally I feel to get the best out of Lukaku, we need to make him play comfortably. We need to make him play very comfortably. And how can he play that? I feel like he's a player that even if he doesn't score goals, at least we need to give him a freedom to be able to drift into the right channel of the pitch. And now, me saying that also feels like I'm saying that is where Ziyech actually functions. So it's almost like saying Ziyech has to, come down a little bit, but that's not what I'm saying. Now, Lukaku drifting to the right channel of the pitch means that passes need to be much more direct. Once we get the ball, the transition needs to be faster, like really faster. And that way we get him a lot of space. But by the time we've wasted time to recycle the ball, we force the opposition team to actually create a low block. We also force Lukaku to go into the middle of two center backs because we complain. The things we actually complain about of Lukaku and in this club is he stays with too many center backs. It doesn't move well enough. But I've never in my life of watching Romelu Lukaku seen him stay between center backs. I've never seen that anywhere. The first time we're seeing that is at Chelsea. And why is that happening at Chelsea? So it's, of course, we could argue that is not the best player for the system in the way we play, and the system is not the formation, as Eric already said. It's the approach. We're not direct enough. We need to be much more direct. And when you become more direct, it means you lose possession more often, and we do not have that team structure. We do not have that defensive midfielder. And I don't know if to also say like a very strong center back, mixture, because to be honest, if we lose the ball and they put the ball across Thiago Silva, they're gone. So we do not have that solid defensive shape to also play a direct football. That's why we make sure we do not lose the possession. So to make Lukaku work, we will definitely need the personal signing, or else we just want to go all out. To make Lukaku work, we need to be direct, more direct. We need to play balls into space. We need our players, midfielders, wing backs, and everyone to throw in those early crosses, early balls into the front. We need to just be urgent in every area, in every way we're playing. That is the first thing I see. Now, the other one people talk about the partnership thingy. Yes, when we talk about Lukaku coming deep to actually affect the play, I feel like if there was a player very close to him where he can just release the ball to, it will make more sense. He could actually fight for the ball, release the ball to the player very close. But most of the times our midfielders are, they've been given the job to play out of the back line, so they are so sucked in the defense. So even when the ball comes out to the attack, there's a serious gap with the midfield and the attack. And Lukaku, unfortunately, doesn't have a very good first touch, doesn't have a beautiful first touch. And, it means that he wouldn't even be motivated to get the ball, because when he gets the ball, he probably might not control it really well. But if we have that ace player, probably Kai Havertz and, any other player on the pitch that is actually very close to him, he could, he has a target, he has a goal that, okay, if I bring this ball down, I'll bring it to this player, I can run into position. And the final thing I'll say is, I feel like Kai Havertz is not the player with the best of chemistry, even with Romelu Lukaku, because Kai Havertz is not also that direct. He's a player that likes to take the chances when he sees it's going to go through. He's not the most direct player in that front line. The only direct player we have in that club, to be honest, aside from Chilwell and Reece James, is just Kovacic in the midfield. Those are, and Mount. Yeah, exactly. I forgot Mount. Those are the only very direct players, and Ziyech on the right flank, of course. Now, but Ziyech, is on his right from time. He's always been a player that does those one-time passes. But the one-time passes on the Ziyech flank doesn't really favor Lukaku, because Ziyech always cuts back to his left foot, and by that time, Lukaku is really close to Ziyech. So the ball mostly goes, far to the far post and all of those places. So it doesn't really work well for Lukaku. That's why we were thinking, oh, we have Ziyech on the right flank. Why is he not giving Lukaku lots of assists? It's because they both play on the right side of the pitch. Lukaku loves to cut in from the right side to shoot those balls. So Ziyech and Lukaku would not be a thing of Ziyech creating for Lukaku. Ziyech would mostly create for the players on the far left side of the pitch, players arriving at the far post, like probably Pulisic or some other Kai Havertz on that flank. So I feel like, at the end of the day, we just need players that are much more direct. We need a direct approach into the game, and that's pretty much it.
It sounds more like you're basically talking about the system here that is not suiting his sense of style.
The players in the system, the players.
So the players in the system. So basically, the system and the players are the problem. Basically.
Okay. Let me address it. Let me address it. Okay, the thing is, look, if we had Chilwell, Reece James, Kovacic in the midfield. Now, the only player I do not necessarily believe fits the system. Now, if you see, I think Eric or someone talked about someone talked about Kante. Someone talked about Kante in that midfield. Now, Kante doesn't necessarily suit the system because he's just only, world class in the defensive and play breaking ability. Is not useful at all in the attacking offensive department. So you can say 50% Kante doesn't fit the system. So that is another player that doesn't fit the system. But we have to play like this because we have so many one type.
Okay. I got to ask you this. What do you mean by Kante doesn't fit the system?
Yeah.
Explain that. What do you mean?
Now in the way we play, for example, we play two midfielders. Now, in the system and the way we play, one of the midfielders has to be really creative on the ball. Like it should be like a box to box, but can create chances from passes and all of those stuff. So, but Kante is really lovely when he's doing the high press, when he's breaking play, when he's tracking back on the defense. But Kante going forward, to be honest, doesn't really offer a lot for us because it doesn't know how to pick those passes. It probably doesn't know how to pick the best passes, and it doesn't give them on time. It probably wastes time, and at the end of the day, ends up passing to the left or the right side. I'm not saying Kante is not is of course is not a good player. I'm just saying like we have to play Kante. Kante can't be on the bench, but when you play Kante, the attacking output from him is obviously probably not really existent, and we just have to suffer in that aspect as well. That's why we always see Kovacic, Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante. That would be the best mix. But when we have Jorginho and Kante, to be honest, I don't think any good thing will come out of that midfield in
So
the
what do you
offense.
think about Conte and Kova then? If Conte sit back and play that Jorginho role,
Yeah, but
Fair enough.
when we play that, then you find out, oh, all of a sudden we cannot keep possession. Kante cannot help us in keeping the possession. Then we need Jorginho again. So it's just so one-sided. Like you have Kante and Jorginho, you're looking for Kovacic. You have Kovacic and Jorginho, you're looking for Kante. You're looking for the last pair.
you see, but all this, remember, the question was referred back to how can we get the best out of Lukaku and see where it turned out to. So it's not, you can say Lukaku is a problem, but you also got to look at it from the other aspects around him that's saying we're not getting enough to provide that service to him that he needs to make sure we are seeing production out of Lukaku. That's what I get like with this conversation now is how can we get the best out of Lukaku? But what you just mentioned is the problems that we are facing to build up to the attack to get the ball to Lukaku. So we're not having the right personnel in the midfield, or the people, the system, as you say, is not suiting him. How do you expect him to perform at a world, quote unquote, because I don't consider him world class, as a world class striker? It's going to be difficult. So now Tuchel so that's when I agree with Tuchel, and Lukaku has to find a way. But it's not only him. Tuchel has to speak to his staff and to the club, to his players as well, that we have to come together as a team to find continuity for us to be able to build attacks, because we're not the attacking third. We're not doing much. We're giving the ball to the left flank and the right flank, and we're sending the balls in. And it's already Lukaku's already marked by two defenders. That cross from Alonso yesterday, Lukaku is the reason why Ziyech got the goal, in my opinion, because he was marked by two defenders.
It's true. It's true.
He was marked by two defenders, and the defender peeled off late. That's the key. You see him peel off late.
Hold on. I mean, listen. I've heard a lot of excuses. I've heard a lot of things, but I can't see that. It was a great cross by Marcos Alonso that everybody else wasn't able to either score from or head it out. And Hakim Ziyech was in the right place at the right time. And it was
the defender
good,
was in the
good
wrong
shot
place at the wrong time because of Lukaku.
And because of Lukaku, right?
It's the same logic.
Like that, bro.
No, it's not
like that, bro.
No, you can't.
No,
It's like when people said that Werner is the reason why Havertz scored in the Champions League final. I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
I don't.
But that's the reason. That's part of the reason why he scored, because of Timo Werner's run. That's how Kai Havertz was freed up to get the ball. That's the same thing here.
No.
Partially, you can give it a percentage. Yeah.
Can I get in here, please?
Yeah.
Go on, Z. Go on.
Okay. Showtime. Even if now we cross the ball to Lukaku, he's been marked with 3 defenders. So how is he gonna score when he's been marked all the time? So I don't necessarily think that giving him the ball is the solution. He needs to do some movements to break free as well. Otherwise, how is he gonna score? So yeah.
If you don't mind as well, I just want to jump on this. So with regard to solutions to Lukaku's endurance, I don't think Lukaku scoring is the biggest problem. No, he's a goal scorer. He's proven he's our highest goal scorer. For me, he's still going to be the top goal scorer come the end of the season. But my biggest problem is his involvement with the team. Man keeps getting isolated all the time. So the solution is, how do you free up yourself? How do you get engaged with your team members? So he needs to leave his position. At times, you need to be smart enough, fall deep a bit, and have that connection with his team. But when you just stay there like a log of wood, the ball isn't going to come to you, and you're already being occupied by defenders around you. So I expect him as a striker who's a world-class striker should use his intelligence. Don't just stand there. There are times where you have to interswitch with your wingers, or fall deep to have a better connection with your midfielders. So for me, I feel that that's something that can help him going forward. I don't doubt his going square ability. I know when he has those chances, he will take them. All he needs is just to get more involved. And for the midfield, like Hockey said, sorry if I'm correct, Hockey is right. Great. We have deficiency with our midfielders. Kante, Jorginho, they're too limited for me. They lack the creativity going forward. So we got to sort that as well. But for Lukaku, I will just say this briefly. It needs to be much more, involved. Don't just stand there and always call for the ball. Don't stand there. Fall deep and get the ball, pass the ball back and make runs. That's it.
What about those attempts that he makes that runs and the balls don't come in from
Obviously, that comes in football. There are times where your teammates won't give you the ball. But in most cases,
wait, no. Listen. Short time is making a good point. Lukaku does make runs, and a lot of the times, these runs are not being seen by the midfielders. That is correct, and I think if we were to address that, we would see a better performance from Lukaku. That being said, sometimes he is not sometimes. I think he has a communication issue with a lot of the players. Now, I'm not sure if it's a system thing, if it's the Premier League. I mean, he's played in the Premier League longer than he's played anywhere else, so he should be aware of the way that the football is played in the Premier League. And I think sometimes I look at the way he's moving, and it looks like he isn't quite there. And I go back, and I've said this many a time in this stream. I think he needs to build his chemistry as well as to build his confidence, because right now, I think Lukaku has a confidence issue. And I think Bobby mentioned this earlier about the way that he is addressed on the pitch. Lukaku wants to be loved. People in the chat were saying this as well. Lukaku wants to be loved. Lukaku wants to feel special, wants to feel important, wants to feel like he is the star of the team. And to be fair, he is. And to be fair, he is, because he's the most expensive player on that pitch. The most expensive player on that pitch. And probably, sorry Z, don't interrupt. And he's probably the most expensive player on that pitch, on our team and the opposition team, because you're not going to find many £100 million players. However, he isn't doing what you'd expect from a £100 million player. He isn't doing it. And the reason why he isn't doing it, I think, is a confidence issue that needs to be addressed by the club, by the players, before we can, as fans, start to cheer him. Now, I think the club needs to do two things here. Number one, they need to address the issue that is concerning the coaching staff and the way that they are talking to him, the way that they are handling him, because he needs to be coached in a different way than he's being right now. It's obvious. The way we've been coaching him, the way that we've been dealing with him isn't working. So we need to change that. What do we need to do? That's not my expertise, but the club needs to find a way to get him to click with the players. Also, I wouldn't be against drills, and this is something that the pundits alluded to last night. I wouldn't be against drills being run with just the attackers. How to build up, how to pass the ball, how to read the runs of the others, because I think a lot of the movements that Lukaku has isn't being picked up on by the rest of the attackers, and that is an issue. Hawkes was talking about the midfield, yes, but I would be expecting more from Ziyech, Pulisic, Havertz, Mason Mount, Timo Werner, Callum, in respect to Lukaku, than Kante, Jorginho, and Kovačić in regards to Lukaku. So that needs to be addressed. We need to find a way to have him connect with the players better. And this is the key. Look, you can like him, you can dislike him, you can be a fan of him, you can be against him. The bottom line is we need to utilize him. We spent 97.5 million bringing this guy in. We need to utilize him. Until we utilize him, we're going to be struggling. We're going to be in trouble. Before I let you guys continue, I've got someone jumping on. Alex, let me just get him on. Alex, big up to you. Welcome to the stream. Tell us where you're from and give us your points and opinions on this topic.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Can you guys
doing
hear
great.
me?
Yeah, loud and clear, mate. Loud and clear, mate. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, I stay in Hungary, and
All right, sweet.
Yeah, I stay in Hungary, school and everything, and like just watching the match yesterday, bruh, I was so frustrated. And after that, I was like, I watched the Hurricane game against City, and
City.
I was like, bruh, Lukaku doesn't have any excuse. Let's all be honest. All these we need to play to his. He's 100 million. Come on, guys. Like, let's be serious. No 100 million pound or dollars or euro player gets 7 touches and is okay with it. It's not possible. So I can hear everyone's like opinion, but let's be real. You get into the game. If you've played football before, like when you're not getting service, you come back and then you get the ball, like mix up with your teammates. So I don't know. I don't think Tuchel can do anything anymore. I don't know what you guys think, but I would take Broja now, like in a heartbeat. So I don't know, guys.
Yeah, no, Alex, listen, it's a dilemma. It's a proper dilemma. Like, no one says this can be fixed easily. But I agree with you. We maybe with Broja, and maybe next season things will be different because, like I said, he needs another striker alongside him, and maybe him and Broja together could work. Could be the partnership we're looking for. It might be Anelka Drogba. You never know. I don't know. I'm just saying. We could see Lukaku start firing when he has someone alongside him. But to be fair, that's what we also said about him and Timo Werner, and that didn't quite pan out. So it's a weird one. I go back and I say this: we need to make it work because no one is going to take him. A few of the panelists that were on earlier, they said we got to get rid of him. Carson from QNTV, we got to get rid of him, and I totally understand that. But who's going to take him? Who's going to pay him £350,000 a week? And who's going to pay us at least, 70 million to take him off our hands? It's going to be very hard on this form. If he was banging them goals in, maybe it'd be easier. But on this form, we'd struggle to get rid of him. Therefore, we need to find a way to utilize him. So, Alex, do you think or do you see a way that we could get it to turn around? Because Lukaku is a good striker when he's playing well. Do you think that we can get that Lukaku that played for Inter Milan that we paid 97 for, or maybe even the Lukaku that played in the Premier League before he went to Italy? Do you think there's a way Chelsea can get that out of him?
I feel like there's a mental block somewhere with him right now. Because even he doesn't want to move. Like with Inter Milan, you could see that aggression, like that. Oh, I want to move with Lautaro Martinez. He's just on his, like, he doesn't want to move. When someone has 2 touches in 45 minutes, he doesn't want to touch the ball. Like Harry Kane, immediately, I don't know whether you guys watched the Euros for England. Immediately he wasn't getting service and he was having a stinker. Harry Kane would come deep, try to touch the ball, and like Lukaku doesn't want to move at all, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
to address the point of Harry Kane, Alex. Harry Kane hasn't had the best of seasons, and he still did better than Lukaku. Yesterday's performance was spot on, and I know a lot of people were talking about let's get a swap. Younes Talks Football made a video earlier today about swapping Lukaku for Harry Kane, and I would be up for that. It ain't gonna happen, but I wouldn't be against it. I would be against it.
I'll take Joe Linton right now. I don't mind.
Conte system is
Just get that guy out.
That Conte system fits Kane though. Who's to say that if we go to that type of system or formation that it won't suit Lukaku as well? You see, that's
point. Short time. I love you, mate. Great point. The system Conte is playing suits him, and it will also be ideal for Lukaku. But I'll guarantee you. Wait, Bobby. I'll guarantee you, if Harry Kane was to come to Chelsea, he would play in any system we decide to play, and he will perform. That's the difference between Harry Kane and Lukaku. Bobby, take it away. Let me hear it.
Mo, I've been, keeping quiet, making sure everybody else gets to talk, but I have to come in when we're talking about trying to mimic Spurs. I mean, come on. What's going on here?
Systems.
I mean, what is this? No wonder
sorry, Bobby. System that was developed under Chelsea and won the Premier League and the FA Cup, and then it was adapted to Serie A and brought back to Spurs. So it was actually a Chelsea system. So I was just saying it's a Chelsea system, not Spurs.
Yeah, and Spurs languishing, I don't know where on the table. And we did that back in 2015, and it was found out the next season. Listen, I don't want to adapt to Lukaku that much. We're all talking about what we have to do for Lukaku. I really don't give a stuff about Lukaku. Yes, we're there to try and make sure we get the best out of him. But if he doesn't fit into what is best for Chelsea, then he has a problem, not us. I know he's a heavy investment, and that comes back to the beginning as to why we shouldn't let non-football people make footballing decisions, because clearly he was a bad buy. Can we do anything about it? It's unlikely. Is it going to be a financial waste? That's very likely. Are we going to rip up trees to do everything just to play for Lukaku, even start to mimic a mediocre team like Spurs? That's absolute madness. I would never support that. The guy has to buckle up, or either we find a solution for him, or he just simply does not play. Because if we want to be successful,
100%.
If we want to take the next step, and that is go for the Premier League title, we cannot have passengers. And right now, he is a passenger. Crikey, we're talking about Spurs. That's the limit for me.
I mean, the simple response is
just before you come in, Eric. I just can't understand how we can have a £97 million sub on the bench.
Well, unfortunately, that's what happens when non-footballing people buy players. The guy is either going to end up on the bench, or he's just going to have to buckle up and stop sulking. People are quite right. You played a game yesterday. I don't care how jet-lagged you were. I mean, you really have to try to have 7 touches as a striker in a game. I mean, that's unheard of. So it's down to him. It's not everybody else's fault. We hear Ziyech, we hear Havertz, we hear everybody else's fault but Lukaku. It is down to him. He's a big-ass 28, 29-year-old, whatever striker. Stop sulking, do your job, period.
So I'm hearing that you expect.
Hold on, short time. I interrupted Eric. Let's hear from Eric, and then I'll come back. Go on, Eric.
Yeah, I think what Alex was trying to say earlier was that there's nothing we can do for Lukaku right now. He needs to help himself. There's only so much you can do to get the best out of him. The way he's playing right now, he seems like he's scared. He's scared to touch the ball. He's scared to get involved. He's hiding. Every time I see him, he's always hidden between the center backs of the other team. And he's just isolated from the rest of the team. So for me, it's about him. What is he going to do? Does he have the mentality to play? When people say he isn't good enough for this league, I don't agree with that entirely. I think he's good enough for this league, but maybe he's not good enough for a team like Chelsea. Maybe he's not good enough to help a team win a Premier League title. Maybe Chelsea is not his level. So he needs to show us that actually, no, I have the mentality to play for a club like Chelsea. I can step up and I can actually stand up and be counted. So that's the way I see it. There's nothing we can do for Lukaku right now. Lukaku has to help himself. He has to give people a reason to support him. And all the people who are still trying to support him need to be helped out, because there's nothing. Showtime can say all he wants, to try to back this guy, but Lukaku is making it very difficult for people to support him. That's the truth. And so when people try to support him, it just looks like people like Showtime are trying to be biased. But the truth is, Lukaku he's the reason for that. So
yeah, I think, I'll 1 second. I want to bring in Showtime because a couple of comments have been addressed to him. So I'll bring in Showtime, and then I'll bring in Z, and then I'll bring you in. Before that, Showtime. This is another comment directed at you, and then you can address all of the comments in one go. I think people who back Lukaku, regardless of what is going on that pitch, only fuel the negativity towards Lukaku. You see, if you and I, like I said, I classify myself, still am a fan of the player. I want to see Lukaku succeed, and I think he has it within him. This is me. However, I am not going to defend him when he only has 7 touches in 90 minutes and 2 touches in 45 minutes. One of them was kicking the ball to start the game. I can't defend that. And I'm not going to even try to defend it, because by me defending him, I'm only going to fuel those who are hating on him. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to call it as I see it. And he is performing very badly right now. Very badly. Yes, he got 2 goals, 2 clutch goals to get us the World Club Cup, and big up for him for doing that. I mean, it's the least he can do, considering how much we paid for him. It's the least he can do. Now, I'm not going to sit here and defend him, and if you want to defend him, that's your narrative, that's your choice. However, just understand this: you need to defend the positives that he is coming up with, rather than try to make excuses for him and to put blame on others. I mean, for example, what Hawkes was saying about we need to feed him more from the midfield. He isn't saying the midfield is playing badly. He's saying maybe this is one area that we can bolster to help him get some more goals, and that I can understand. But for you to say it's the midfielder's fault, it's the other player's fault that he isn't scoring, no, that I cannot agree with. So we need to stop, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but we need to stop backing a player and start backing a team, because that's what we're here for. We're here to support Chelsea Football Club. And I know I've addressed a lot to you, Showtime, so I'll let you respond. Then I'll go to Z, and then I'll go to Kante, and then anybody else who wants to jump in. Go on, Showtime.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I said before, I jumped on and I said I'm not defending his performance for yesterday at all. It's poor. It was poor. 2 touches in 45 minutes, and one was to kick the ball off. That's poor, yeah. But what I'm not gonna do is just write him off, because we've seen that for the past couple of weeks, months, that we've bantered him. We've told him he has to go, and then he scored 2 goals in the Club World Cup, and then okay, the die down happens. Everybody's calm. Everybody's like, okay, he's probably catching his form again. Then this happens again. So I'm not just really there to write him off. And first of all, I like Lukaku, yes, but my love is for Marina and my love is for N'Golo Kante before Lukaku, But for me, it's more so the stats prove it all, that he may not seem to be performing this season, but the stats.
He didn't say his loves for Chelsea.
I love Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's guaranteed though. I mean,
wait. Short, I gotta ask you this. Because this is burning a hole inside of me, mate. What is it about Marina that you're so in love with, man? I mean, what is it? Tell me.
She's the first female director in football, right? And she's done wonders for us. She's won us trophies. 19 years she's been with us.
All right. Again, why Marina? Why are you in love with Marina? Why
beautiful.
are you?
She's beautiful.
I'll take that. I'll accept that. But if you tell me you fancy the woman, not issues there. But I mean,
and she's done. Look, she's the face of the club. After Abramovic, she's the face of the club. She's the next person that people turn to. And for me, that's
the next person you turn to. You're the only person talking like this.
I mean,
we're Chelsea fans, not Marina fans.
Okay,
you're the Marina fan.
I'm the Marina fan. I'm a Chelsea fan first, but then Marina Granovkaia comes next, and then and then N'Golo Kante. Yes.
But you see that is a problem. I'll tell you why it's a problem.
Everybody has a fan. You like Mason Mount? No. Hakim Ziyech.
I listen. I don't like nothing. I don't like nothing apart from Chelsea Football Club. I like Mason Mount because he plays for Chelsea Football Club. I like Hakim Ziyech because he plays for Chelsea Football Club. Hakim Ziyech gets signed by AC Milan, Ajax, whoever next season. I don't care about him no more. That's it. I'm done. Eden Hazard, a legend, plays for Real Madrid. I couldn't care less about him right now. If he was to come back to Chelsea, then we could talk about that then. But right now, all I care about is Chelsea Football Club. And Marina Granovkaia, all right, she is employed by Chelsea Football Club.
It's Chelsea Football Club.
She is employed by Chelsea Football Club. What did you say? Did you say she is Chelsea Football Club?
She is. In 19 years, she's been with us. She's seen the turnover.
So she's
with Abramovic. I don't know. I don't know Chelsea without knowing Abramovic.
Let me tell you this. Abramovic is not Chelsea Football Club. Abramovic is not Chelsea Football Club. Abramovic owns Chelsea Football Club. Abramovic is responsible for Chelsea Football Club, but Chelsea Football Club was here long before Abramovic and will continue to be here long after Abramovic. We love him, we respect him, he's done great for the club, but no one individual is greater than the club. I don't care who they are. Listen, we have to try to look at this in a what's the word here? We need to look at the bigger picture. All right, we need to look at Chelsea history and future, not Chelsea right this second. Marina is in charge of this, in charge of that. Abramovic is the owner. This is all current. This is all now. If we only focus on the now, how are we going to improve moving forward? If we don't look at our history, how are we going to improve moving forward? We have to look at all of this. You focusing on an individual and saying she is the club. Short time, I'm sorry, mate, but you're going to some next level, man. Some next level.
Listen, for me, Marina Granovkaia is when Abramovic came in, that's when my love for Chelsea began. That's it. I don't know Chelsea from the 1980s like Bobby.
You. Short time, that's you. Yeah.
I'm not speaking for everybody.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So say me. Say Marina Granovkaia is, for me, she's the club. For me, she's my Valentine's. For me, she's my this, she's my that. For you, not for us. Not for us Chelsea fans. For us Chelsea fans, Chelsea Football Club is a lot bigger than Marina Granovkaia. With all due respect to her, the club is a lot bigger than individual. I'm sorry. Short time. I'll let you finish off before I'll hand over to someone else. I'll let you finish off.
Okay, yeah. But in regards to the Lukaku situation, look. At the end of the day, he didn't perform yesterday. That's the problem. Who's to say that on Tuesday he don't score 2 or a hat trick? And if he does, then everybody. I say he is scoring a hat trick. I say he is scoring a hat trick. It's possible. You don't think it's possible?
I'd love for it to happen. I'd love to be proven wrong, and for him to score a hat trick. I would love that.
To the 3-4-2-1, he'll probably score 2 goals for us.
I'd love for that to happen.
Yeah. Look. I'm not gonna write him off because, like you said, he's wearing the shirt. So for me, I can criticize him, but I'm gonna support him as well because he's wearing the shirt. I'm gonna be more positive than negative because he's wearing the shirt, and we spent the
All right.
money.
All right.
Simple.
Short time. You are the man of controversy. You are the man of controversy. And you know what? You know what? I'm not going to say no more. You said enough. Let me go to Z. Z, let me hear your opinion, mate.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, Showtime, bro. If you love Marina because she's Russian, just say, it, bro. Because honestly,
I do.
apart from that, with the with with the Lukaku situation, like I just want to clear this out. I feel like the reason why Showtime is still defending Lukaku is because, like, when we look back before the whole interview thing, the dude was scoring goals. In the Euros, the dude was scoring goals. It's just when the injury came and then the interview came, then a whole lot of stuff went bad. So I understand why Showtime is having hope for Lukaku, and I do too. But at this
No
point,
problem there. No
Lukaku
issues with that.
must prove
Yeah.
himself.
Yep.
Yeah, he must prove himself. He must be the Lukaku who doesn't care about the trophies that he's won. Just care about winning for Chelsea and play to win for Chelsea. And then if he wants to leave, well, whatever, that's his choice. And also at the same time, like, I don't know, play to his strengths, or better yet, play him to his cup games. Because I've seen that in the cup games, at least he scores. In the Premier League, I haven't seen him scoring. So play him in the cup games, the Champions League. Hopefully he scores. If he doesn't change, then let him go.
Hopefully he gets a hat trick.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets a hat trick, and in short time we'll come on here and say, "Look, I told you," and I'll be like, "Thank God you were right." All right, let's go to Kante. Here, let me hear your thoughts. I Kante, see you. Kante, see you. Okay, maybe he's
I'll
not there.
go. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go.
go
Yeah.
on.
All
Yeah,
right.
go
Yeah.
on.
So, basically, of course, everyone has, big points. I think that's the weird thing about the Lukaku situation is like all parties are actually right. And that makes it even really, really worse. It makes it hard to come to a conclusion because the people saying it needs to be shipped off are like, they're partially right. The people saying it needs to be benched, they're partially right. And some other were like, let's try to get the best out of him, but also partially right. So it makes it really difficult. For me, I just feel regardless of the striker we're going to have at Chelsea, if we play this negative, I know some strikers would play better. They would play better, but we wouldn't still have, we'll probably not still have a good game in general. But these strikers will still play better than Lukaku does. So I think it's more about the way we play. Lukaku is awful. His limitations do not help us at all. In fact, it puts more load on our shoulders. Is meant to like help the team relieve some pressure, but instead is giving the team much more work to do, which is really sad. But at the end of the day, I just feel the whole approach in the team, we have to be direct. People think when we say let's play to Lukaku's strength or something, we mean playing a counter-attacking style of football. No. We just want a more direct football. When you play direct, you get balls into space. That way it's easier to play much more better football. So I just think do not recycle every ball. Let's be very direct. Let's be urgent from the back line to the midfield to the attack. It will help all of the attackers. Now we saw Ziyech playing on the right flank for how many weeks or a month under Thomas Tuchel. He wasn't playing really well because he was playing on his best position, but he wasn't playing in his best system. So like that, and many of you, many fans wanted to sell Ziyech. It was probably the first name on the sell list, on the transfer list. It was the first name. If they had the chance, if the fans had the chance, they would have sold him in January. they would have sold Ziyech in January. But now we changed the system, but it was still in the same position. And now Ziyech has been outstanding, is on form, is playing really lovely. So the approach is the key for me. I think we should be much more direct, urgent, very urgent with the ball. It will help the attackers, help Romelu Lukaku. And the thing about Lukaku is, of course, is lacking confidence right now. He needs goals to build his confidence. And now some of us are saying, come to the midfield and try to, get into the game, come into the midfield. But, that would even make Lukaku have a worse game because he doesn't even have a good first touch. So when he tries to be into the game more, he loses the ball and you all will go on Twitter and clip everything. Oh, he has an awful first touch. He has this. So at this point, he's even suffering with confidence issues. He's suffering with some kind of mental issues. So that's why he's just trying to retreat to just scoring the goals. And we don't have the necessary tools or the facilities to provide him with the assist to put the goals into the back of the net. So it's just a very big, how would I say it, paradox for Lukaku and Chelsea. So going forward, let's just play direct. Let's play with urgency. Of course, Tuchel should never, ever play Lukaku without Mateo Kovačić. It makes no sense. It would never be useful if Tuchel plays Lukaku without Mateo Kovačić or even Mason Mount, because these are the only two players that have good chemistry with this striker. So without Mount and Kovačić in a game, Lukaku is just going to be blatant useless in that game. So that's all I'll just say, and that is basically it.
All right, sweet. I wanna just thank Z for being here earlier. He had to bounce. Listen, everyone who's jumped on the stream, thank you very much. It means a lot to have you guys here on the stream and supporting the channel. 137 likes. Thank you. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. I know a lot of people are asking me to give Alex a chance to speak, so I'll give Alex a chance to speak. But I know Kante wants to leave, so I'll let Kante give me his last remarks, and then we'll go back to Alex. Kante, let me hear it.
Yeah, thank you, Mo. I've just got to hop off. Sorry, guys, but that's why I'm speaking now. I think on the thing about adapting to Lukaku, I'll just end it off here. I think there's no point of Tuchel trying it because we know every single team in the world does not work with every single formation. So let's say we try a counter-attacking formation under Tuchel. It has worked before, but to sustain that for a long time where the other team has the ball more and we're trying to play off their mistakes, I think we never know if it could lead us to more defensive issues that we have had sometimes. So I think we need to play to Tuchel's strengths, see how he thinks that the team should go, and not just base the team around Lukaku, because I think that's unfair for the other players that will suffer if we play this specific or have this adaptation for Lukaku, which certain players will suffer from. There's every player on a single team. There's only 2-3 teams where every single player has a good role, but there are teams where players are susceptible to issues from adaptations to different formations. But I think I think generally, this interview has, when we criticize Lukaku, I think this interview's made our criticism a lot harsher than it normally is, because we've had players in the past where they've been awful and not tried enough, but because they've showed us that they're willing to work, we haven't given them the criticism. This interview's, I think, really done. I think Lukaku thought it'd be okay, but he just, I think I've said this before, he's caught us in the crossfire, and now every stinker that he drops for us, he will be getting a lot of criticism because we're going to question his work ethic, his attitude. I have said this before. I think if this interview didn't come out, we'd be giving him a lot more time. I think we'd have been, a bit more patient with him. But this interview, he's come out and said it as if he, we switched his formation and he's going to be banging 30, 40 goals a season, which he hasn't done. So, I think, this adapting thing, I don't think it will work. I think there's no point of doing it if it's going to lead us onto other issues which we already have and make them worse, because we want a team that is balanced, not, a good attack and a poor defense. But yeah, that's all I want to round up on. I want to, obviously Alex, he can speak and stuff. So I'll just round up here. Thank you, Mo, for having me on. I'll try watch it tomorrow as well for the stream. I'll try hop on if you're given the opportunity. But thank you very much.
Will do. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Have a great night, and it's good to have you on. Take care, brother. See you later. Cheers. Bye-bye. All right, listen, lads, I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes to give me their closing statement because we've been on for 3 hours and 6 minutes nearly. So I want to hear everyone's final thoughts on how they would like Chelsea to move forward in respect to Romelu Lukaku. And then we will conclude the stream after we hear from everyone. It's been fantastic. And we'll go with Alex first. As he's chat. I don't know where these fans come from, Alex, but big up to you, mate. Big up to you. Let me hear your final thoughts.
Actually, what Jorge said, there's something I want to touch on. It is the fact. The main thing is the fact that when I mean you have to come deep and try to receive the ball and all those things, nobody's perfect. But the fans and the people that are watching, even your teammates, need to see you try. That's the most important thing. You miss the ball, you try again, but we need to see that eagerness to try. That's the thing that is annoying with Lukaku. Sometimes I forget he's on the pitch. Like, I don't even see him. Havertz, you can see him go to the left, to the right. He's moving. Lukaku is staying there. There's nobody that is perfect. When you cook for the first time, you're going to cut your hand a few times, but you get better. That's the point. So we need to see him try. But, like, I don't know, because nobody can tell me Lukaku is a bad striker. When he came in, I can remember his first game. He scored two against Arsenal. He scored against Zenit. He scored against Aston Villa too. So he had that form. Like, so nobody can tell me, oh, we need to adapt to Lukaku. When he's in his mood or his game, he's one of the best strikers. Like, he scores goals for fun. So he is a good striker.
Alex, yeah? do you think it's a mental thing right now? He's not confident. He's got issues. Something's wrong.
I think it's a mental thing, actually. And I think the mental is playing with his physical, too, because he's just staying there. Like, he's not doing any... I even think he has started to gain a little bit of, like fatigue, slow movement. Like, he's just there, like a brick. So, I don't know. I think it's a mental thing, and it's affecting his game. Like, and I don't know, because this interview... bro, I don't... This season is going to be very hard for him. But, like, I'm just praying... he gets better. He's good. He's a good striker, no matter what. Mainly he gets to his form, which I feel if you give him more time, he might do. But you have to play him right now. Dropping him, I don't think is going to help his mental side. So it's a mixed one. But that's my say. I just pray he gets to that form and he keeps on banging goals, because right now it looks like we're playing with 10 players instead of 11.
Yeah, well, I mean, if 7 touches in a game, you might as well be playing with 10 players. You get me? So yeah. Hopefully, and I agree with you, Alex. I think he has it within him to be a very good striker for Chelsea, but it's going to take a little bit of work. And maybe adapting is not the right. He may not need to adapt to the system or the system to him. He just needs to get it right up here and get his confidence up and starts to play with a little bit more belief, and maybe that's all it's going to take. Alex, thank you for coming on. Pleasure to have you on. Hopefully I'll see you in future streams. So it's good to have your insight and your opinion. And you got fans in the chat, so big up to you, mate. Big up to you. Cheers, guys. Alex.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Take care, brother. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Alex. All right, we'll go to my car salesman, and then we'll go to Olu. So we'll go back to Habib. Habib, you didn't tell us where you're from, man. You said you're a car salesman.
Oh, I'm actually from Toronto, Canada.
Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, my
listen, I have a lot of Canadians on my stream. I don't know why.
No,
my panelists.
I believe the time of the day. I think that's probably what it is.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Big up to you, my brother. Give me your final thoughts on how we should move forward with the.
Sure. I just want us to look at something. I'm a man, or I see things in a bit logical. Logical seems to be a simple way to look at things. This is my first point. Chelsea is the best club in the whole wide world. If I come to your shows, there's rules and regulation. I have to abide by it. You more or less employ me. So whatever you want me to do, that's what I need to do because I'm in your show. We are bigger than Lukaku. Lukaku comes to Chelsea. He has to adapt to what we play, not us changing our system for Lukaku. That's point number one. My point number two is I want us to look at something. Just close your eyes and think about this. If this continues all the way to next season, right? And this problem, Lukaku, now he still have his mental issue or whatever, we're not playing to the system. Then Tuchel goes because we're not producing, we're not scoring goals. This problem continues and we start complaining about this all the time. And Tuchel goes just because Lukaku or whatever is not scoring. Who's losing, Lukaku or Chelsea? So we all have to start looking at this and start thinking about it. With Chelsea, we know how we operate. If things does not work very well, we tend to change the managers. So before we get to that, if something does not work very well, we have to start looking for solution. If the solution actually involves Lukaku sitting down or somebody talks to him, this needs to be sorted out. Guys, if it's not sorted out in next year, December, or next season, December, or this year, December, Tuchel probably have to leave. Because that system or whatever system, whatever how much we think is the problem, if we're not scoring goals and there's no improvement, it's all going to come back to the manager. So, guys, let's all think about this.
Habib, do you really think it would come down to that? If Lukaku doesn't perform, Tuchel's job is at risk?
Yeah, because it seems to be the problem, because we're not scoring goals. The problem seems to be to this. Okay, let's say, for example, now.
Sorry, Habib. I'm just sure when I get this right. If Lukaku doesn't score goals, then it's obviously going to impact the team. But do you think that Thomas Tuchel will continue giving him this opportunity if he isn't performing? Because I don't think that would be the case.
No,
we've seen it. Sorry, and we saw it with Timo Werner, because Timo Werner, Tuchel gave him a lot of goals and to be leading in the attack. He didn't do it. So Thomas Tuchel then turned it around and started to utilize Kai Havertz, started to look at different options. I wouldn't be surprised if Thomas Tuchel will start benching Lukaku somewhere down the line if he isn't performing, and that would be the trigger. And I think you're talking about December. I would say that Chelsea will probably bolster our attack in the summer. And if they don't bolster our attack in the summer, I have a strong feeling and hope that Borja would remain in the club. And therefore, we will have options when it comes to strikers. And if Lukaku doesn't perform, he will be benched. And I was asking the question because someone else said it, and I said £97 million substitute. Yes, it may come down to that.
Yeah,
just like we benched our number one goalkeeper and put on Willy Caballero under Lampard. This is something that we don't want to see happen, but could happen, and we are prepared for it. Because I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
Thomas Tuchel will not put his job at risk for Lukaku. He will find a way to continue moving the club forward.
Okay, I totally hope that is the case, because Lukaku has actually had the worst game that we all crying that he shouldn't start the next game. What happened? He still plays. Even the day that he even had a worst game, when they had to do substitution, that we all thought it was going to be him, it was somebody else that came in. So I'm not so sure maybe there's something in his contract that preventing Tuchel to do that. Because sometimes when I look at it, I'm thinking maybe there's more into this, because I know Tuchel, based on the PSG, he doesn't waste that long. He doesn't give superstar that much time. But it seems with Lukaku, he seems to be doing that more often. I don't know, maybe he's trying to give him hope, or maybe he's just thinking it's going to get better. But I don't know. But if this is not being sorted out, if James and Shewa comes back and still this problem of Lukaku, maybe one of them get injured again, then we're not back to the same problem of not creating chances to score. It seems to be the same wound we're trying to treat that seems to be coming back. So I don't know what is going to be. I really don't. I pray that we don't end up choosing Lukaku over our manager, because if this continues, I'm really, really worried, because I know how Chelsea is. We've brought in Mutu in the past, Crespo in the past. All those big names, when it didn't work, it was a downfall for a lot of our old managers. It costs a little bit because when it start affecting 2 players, 1 players, 3 players, then we start having that problems. And we can hear some stories about it a few months or like a few weeks ago. The strikers are complaining. They're not happy. If these people are not performing, but they're still friends with the guy that we're all talking about that is not performing, it's just a matter of time for them to start getting affected. Then we start getting to 3 players. Then we start having the problem of the striking force in the front. So it's better for us to just look at things in a logical way. I know we all want Lukaku to be successful. Maybe sometimes, as I told you earlier on, maybe it's just time for us to sit down. If it doesn't work, there's nothing wrong in us finding solution. It's better for us to cry about losing 30 million on this guy than losing a manager in December. That's my own opinion. I hope I didn't too much negative about this. I'm looking at it in a more logical way than the way we're looking at it.
Habib, everyone here is asked to give their opinion. So I respect your opinion, and I'm glad and I'm happy to hear it. And that's what we're here for. I mean, if we're all going to agree about everything, then there's no point us having a debate show, because we're here to debate our opinions and our understanding of the situation. So thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for giving me your insight. Much appreciated. Hopefully I'll see you in the future.
I'm always there. Sometimes I just stay on the comment and come to the video stream. But it's about Lukaku. That's why I decided to be on the video stream today. Thank you very much. He's the best.
Is the name you use is Haas Automotive? Is that the one they use in the chat? Is that
that's
same
exactly
account?
because it was just my company. Right. So that's my name is Habib, as you're aware of it. Yeah, it's just Habib, the company name that I just use because I use that for promotion. So I just tend to use it for my YouTube channels as well. So
perfect, Habib. Thank you very much. I hope to see you again. Take care of yourself.
Okay, no
Have
problem.
a good night.
We'll see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Take care, Habib.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye bye, Habib. All right, fantastic. Okay. Fantastic. Listen, lads, it's been a fantastic stream, and we've met a lot of new people today. A lot of new faces have come on the show, and I want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you. I love interacting with people on the stream. So, big up to everyone who has jumped on, and thank you very much. It's been great. Let's go to Olu. Olu, how do we move forward with the Lukaku situation, man? Let me hear it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have spoken, from different perspective. Some people want him sold. Some people, like one of the panelists said. For me, I'm just going to look at it from this direction. What can we do to the end of the season? Okay, so what I would recommend is first, I don't think it's wise for we to bench Lukaku because let's be honest to ourselves. He's the best striker we have in our team. I know a lot of people calling for Kai Havertz to start, but let's be honest. Like, are you telling me Kai Havertz is going to outscore Lukaku? No, let's be real. Lukaku is not playing so well. But I still believe when chances come, Lukaku stands a better chance of converting his goals. And that's the fact. So for me, I'm still going to stick with him, just like what Tottenham Sport did with Harry Kane. Harry Kane didn't start the season pretty good, and a lot of people were calling for him to get benched. But, the coach kept playing him because he knows the quality of Harry Kane. And that's the same strategy I'm going to apply to Lukaku. Keep playing him and also try to work with him in the training field. Let him, get used to the players around him. And I also feel we've spoken a lot about Lukaku. Yes, I know Lukaku is the target man, the scapegoat that we called him because he came out and spoke. And also, he's our talisman, most expensive.
Hold on. All right, I got to stop you, man. You just called him a scapegoat. Come on, man. Scapegoat?
No. I'm just using the phrase someone used, man. Okay,
I was the one who said I said that earlier. Actually, I'm the one who's
The whole fan base is just scapegoating. They only watch Lukaku right now.
So yes, Lukaku has been the one taking all the blames because he's the target man, is the most expensive player in Chelsea. We got it, the talisman as well. But at the same time, we need to remember we have players who are not performing as well. we have a lot of players around Lukaku. They're not pulling their weight, not just even in midfield. Our wingers. I don't want to start to talk to the Callum Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic. There's so many, Even Mason Mount has dropped. Let's be real. They're not helping him.
Mason Mount is injured. He's injured.
I know, but even prior to his injury, his performance, if you look, it's been unstable. He hasn't really performed to the standard we ought to believe he can perform to. So there's, you can see it's not just only Lukaku, and that's the reason why we're able to score just one goal. Why is it difficult for we to score just a goal? If you look at the team at Liverpool, goals come from every angle. Yes, you can criticize the style of play also impacts the ability for them to score. But at the same time, our players also need to step up to their game. They got to do better. So for Lukaku, I just feel, he needs to improve on certain things he's been doing over the time, and it hasn't been working for him. Like I said previously, try to, don't just stay there. Don't get isolated all the time. Try to fall deep a little bit, and also get to, play to your strengths. Like you said, we have to play to his strength. He knows his strengths, and that's why he trains with his players in the training field. They see his strength, so they should play to his strength as well. So for me, it's a two-way. Lukaku has to improve, and also the team has to also, try to get the best from Lukaku, because he is the best option when it comes to goals, to be honest. And that's my point. I believe that will help Lukaku and the team going forward. And come the end of the season, the club can decide what they want to do. If they want to sell him, fine. If they want to keep him, it's up to them, not to me. That's it.
All right. Listen, Olu, fantastic. Thank you for your insight today. It's good to have you on the panel. So hopefully we'll see you on more regularly. I know you do jump on whenever you get a chance. So thank you for doing that. Let's see what happens midweek, because apparently Lukaku plays well in cup games. So let's see what happens in the Champions League, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah,
Olu,
absolutely.
thank you very much, mate. Have a
Thank
great
you
night.
very much,
We'll
Mo,
see
and
you
guys.
later.
Really appreciate it as well. Have a
Take
good one,
care,
guys.
brother.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right. Musa Muhammad, thank you for your super chat. Much appreciated. Lukaku ain't gonna improve. He had 2 touches for the entire first half, and one was kickoff. It was his So he literally had 1 touch, and that's what I said at the beginning of the stream. Musa, thank you very much for your super chat, mate. Much appreciated. Much love to you. All right, let's go. I'm gonna keep Bobby and Eric to the end. Let me go with Hawkeyes. Again, lads, Hawkeyes. It's been a great stream, mate. Let me get your final thoughts on how to conclude this.
So I think for my final thoughts, I'll just say everyone that has spoken, prior to my chance right now, Abib as well, Olu, I think they have the crucial points. Like, they have everything. It's the two sides, and that's what we just have to work with. And I totally agree with them. All I'll just say is big ups, Blue Lounge. Everyone, smash that like. Keep coming here every time we have the streams here. So thank you so much for the opportunity. And that's it. That's basically it.
My pleasure. Short and sweet. Hawkeyes, thank you very much. And listen, guys, I've put the link to Hawkeyes' channel in the chat, so you can scroll up and you can find it. And listen, Hawkeyes is on the road to 2,000 subscribers.
Whoa,
great channel. So check him out and subscribe to his channel. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. Hawkeyes, have a great night, mate. Take care.
Goodbye.
See you later. Cheers. Bye-bye, my brother. Bye-bye. All right, Eric or Bobby? Let me see. Let me go with Bobby. I know he wants to get some sleep, so let me go with Bobby. Bobby, big up to you. Final thoughts, mate. Final thoughts. How do we move forward with Lukaku?
Yeah, I've just subscribed to Hawkeyes, by the way.
Great channel. No joke. Seriously, great content. You will not be disappointed.
Good. Well, Lukaku. Well, clearly Lukaku is an end of season. Is from now to the end of season project. I don't buy what this other guy was saying about come December, doomsday, and the chariots are going to hit Thomas Tuchel. That's not going to happen. The strategy going forward into the next season is going to be profoundly different. And the midfield deficiencies simply has to be addressed. So it's what do we do with Lukaku between now and the end of the season? Now, it's quite clear there are psychological issues, which I don't accept. I think there's a certain income that you generate that your performance is meant to be, compensated for, basically. If he was a academy graduate having psychological issues, I would be more empathetic, but he's not. So that has to be down to him.
Experienced player in his prime, I mean, this shouldn't be affecting him in this way. I agree with you. Spot on.
Exactly. He's not a baby. Part of Lukaku's problems has to be him. He has to find some of the solutions. I don't think Chelsea Football Club, especially the owner, would be that adverse to putting £97 million on the bench if it's not giving him goals. The only reason they are trying not to have to do that is to give the guy some value. One, to try and solve the problem. Two, give him some value in that, if he suddenly finds a rich vein of form, then we can be in a position where if he chooses to, he can go and we'll get some money for him. And in the meantime, he would have helped us with some goals. So we have to persist with him. How do we utilize him? Well, this is where the rest of the team, they can do better. I can understand why some of those balls weren't being played to him. Because one, that we're not sure. I mean, he wasn't really showing that much of an appetite to respond to a ball that was being played to him. I shared some of the clips that we got off the match of the day segment in the on the Twitter stream with you, Mo. Yeah, you could see that he wasn't showing appetite for the ball to be played to him. So when Sarr had the chance, he played elsewhere. When Havertz had the chance, he continued running with the ball. When even Ziyech had the chance, he continued running with the ball. So he's not encouraging play towards him. Now, having said all this, I think part of the problem is on the training ground. If there is an exercise to include the play of the attackers, including Lukaku, the outcome would be better. One thing about football is that what you do in the training ground comes out on the pitch. You can see that with Man City and their sort of mass midfield, mass attack. It's all training ground product. And I don't think Chelsea have had enough of that with their forwards. One, due to injury, also due to the international break, and also due to late arrivals back from internationals, etc., this summer, which cut down on a pre-season. So really, the Lukaku issue is not that straightforward. However, although it's handicapped, a lot of the solution has to come back down to him. He's got a job to do. He's earning 350k a week. It's no time to be a child. He's got to step up to the plate and be counted.
Yep, definitely got to step up. And the thing is, a lot of the youngsters would be looking up to Lukaku for encouragement, motivation, guidance. And that's the kind of player I thought we were bringing in, because he's been there, he's done that. He's won titles. I mean, he hasn't won. Maybe he hasn't won titles like we have, but he's won titles. So I was hoping to see more from him. I was hoping to see more from him. And, this mentality issue that I keep on banging on about is the only real excuse that I can make for him, because, if it isn't that, then we're in trouble, because that means he's lost his ability. And if he has lost his ability, we are in serious trouble. And let's just hope that he is able to regain it, because it might not be a confidence issue. It might just be that he's got a chip on his shoulder rather than an actual, a mental block that he's not able to address. Maybe he's just got a chip on his shoulder. I don't know, but like you said, Bobby, he's not a baby. He needs to get on with it and start to perform. Bobby, thank you very much. We will see you hopefully tomorrow evening for the match preview, for the Champions League preview. So, hopefully we'll see you then. Have a good night, my brother. Take care, and thank you for being part of the stream. It's been fantastic.
Good night, guys.
Cheers, Bobby. Have a good night. Take care, brother. All right, before I hear Eric Blue's final thoughts, can we get to 150 likes? It's like 7 likes away. 150 is just a nice round number. If we could beat it, brilliant. But at least let's get to it. So 7 more likes. If you haven't hit the like button, consider it. I know we've got a lot of new subscribers tonight. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Eric, you've heard everyone's thoughts and opinions. I'm giving you the final statement. Let me hear it.
Okay, I'll try to be concise, but I feel as if there are a few things to say. I'll start off by saying that it's a difficult situation. We can't pretend like it's not. Even if Tuchel is being backed, nothing will make him be at risk of getting sacked, right? This season anyway. Even if that is the case, which I'm hoping and I believe it's the case, it's still a big problem that he has on his hands. He has to get the best out of Lukaku. It's Tuchel's job to get the best out of his players, especially the club record signing, right?
What more can he do?
That's the thing. So you can argue he could do more, but for me, I don't think there's anything Tuchel can do for Lukaku right now. That's just the truth. For me, I don't think it's about Lukaku. It's about what Lukaku can do. Can he get himself out of this, whatever you want to call it? Can he get himself out? Can he step up and actually show something? A lot of this stuff with fans, we want to see something. We understand that, things don't always go your way. We get it, but we need to see something. We need to see like that's your. Yeah, I keep mentioning about Werner. We know Werner isn't good enough, but we can see how much effort he's putting in, and we shouldn't even be in a position to talk about effort, because when you're playing at this level, that should not be something we talk about. That should be an absolute guarantee. That should be the minimum, right? That should be the minimum expectation. So it's a very difficult situation. Like Jonathan was saying in the comments, how long do you keep playing him until it's a problem? I think it's a problem already. Yes, we've been unbeaten. I think I heard that we won 5 games in a row. Nice, that's all good. But the way we're playing, it's not going to keep going. We're not going to keep winning games. So for me, I have no idea what the breaking point is. Yes, it's obvious to say that, okay, dropping him would be a bad idea. We know the media will get on Tuchel's case and start asking him all sorts of questions. We know that, it doesn't look good on the, it makes the club look bad if you drop your record signing because he's not playing well enough. That's a huge disaster. So we understand the problems, and I guess why Tolu said that it would be the wrong decision. But there has to be some kind of solution. Something has to happen. So what I'm hoping is, things just improve somehow. I think that's what everybody's hoping for. We just keep playing him, keep persisting, and eventually something will change. But I don't see it like that. I just don't think it will. But I'm hoping it does. And you know what? Irrespective of anything else, at least the truth is he will score more than he has a higher chance of scoring than anybody else. So I guess for that reason alone, you can justify playing him. You can justify persisting with him no matter what, because probably he will score more than anybody else when he gets that chance. So we have to hold on to that, and we have to see what we can do from now on. But like I said before, I'm not looking forward to Premier League games anymore, and it's sad to say it, but I just have to be honest. I'm looking forward to the Cups.
Look, if we get another result, and there is a possibility that Liverpool can beat Man City, and if we get and if Man City lose to Liverpool and they drop another game, it's going to be a little bit more interesting than you expect, Eric. Because yes, we're miles away, but you never know. I mean, crazier things have happened, and there's 12 fixtures left in the Premier League, so. Yeah. It's still interesting. I mean, I'm not. I mean, it's clutching at straws, thinking that we might win this, but mathematically, it's still an interesting season, right?
Yeah. The focus will be less on us, right? I think that
of course, yeah. Listen, it's Man City, Liverpool right now. For me, it's a Man City, Liverpool title race, and Chelsea is just slowly working, lurking in the background. You never know. Something might just happen. I mean, you never know.
Nobody talks about nobody's talking about us winning the title anymore, right? Everybody's saying City and Liverpool. So if City go behind Liverpool, the talk will now be like, okay, Liverpool can really do something here. They have a real chance, and everybody will forget about how far off Chelsea are. All the pundits who thought we would win the title.
Eric, I want to just look at this. I want to just see this on the screen, because this is an interesting one. Let's just spend a couple of minutes looking at this. Hold on, let me just bring it up. All right, because right now, Man City are on 63 points. All right, Liverpool are on 57, so that's a 6-point gap. But they have a game in hand, right? So if Liverpool win their next game, then they're going to be literally 3 points behind Man City. And they have to play each other.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, Chelsea, on the other hand, they're 13 points behind, but also with a game in hand. So if we were to win, we would be 10 points behind. But then if the game between these guys was to go Liverpool's way, then it would only be 7 points behind. It's tricky for us. It's very tricky for us. But these two are definitely in a title race.
I still think that yes. Well, City, Liverpool are not quite. I think they need to win that next game. Once they win the game against Norwich. Oh, sorry, is it Leeds? Okay, Leeds. Once they win the game against Leeds, then I think they'll be in a title race. Because for me, you can't be in a title race if you're more than 6 points behind, the team ahead of you.
And they have still West Ham to play, Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester United, City. They've got some tough games coming up as well. Liverpool got some tough games coming up. What does Man City have? Let me have a look at Man City's upcoming fixtures. So they've got Everton, Man United. All right, that's an interesting Manchester derby. They've got Liverpool there. They don't really have a lot of tough games coming up. I mean, really, they're.
I mean, if you want to.
Yeah, I can't see them dropping points. I mean.
You can look at that loss in two ways, right? Because the last time they lost, remember what happened? They lost to Crystal Palace.
I think they went on 13 game, something like that.
12. I think they won 12 games in a row.
12 games in a row, yeah.
So that's not good.
That's all they need. 12 games and that's it.
I mean, if they win 10 games in a row from now, then it's over, right? But that's just we're going off topic slightly, but going back to Chelsea. Which is, I don't like the fact that not only, because I never thought we would win the title, but at least I thought the gap would reduce a little bit, right? And I think people just got carried away, the Champions League, the big striker signing, it was easy to just, get caught up in this whole title talk, right? But I think if Liverpool overtakes City, people will focus less on how poor Chelsea are. They'll focus less on how far off where we were supposed to be. We currently seem to be, we seem to be far off where we wanted. So that's big up Kwasi. That's the thing, right? So I don't want people to focus on Chelsea in a negative way. So that would help with that. But I still think, what you said, all that is well and good, but we need to win our games, right? If we don't win our games, then it doesn't mean anything for the other teams. So focus on ourselves. As much as I don't think we can go on like a 5-6 game win streak, hopefully we can. But I'm most looking forward to the League Cup final. I think we have a really good chance. We can't use the league to judge the cups because we saw what happened last season. So I think we can win that. I think we can go find the FA Cup and maybe the Champions League as well. So I'm still happy, even though it's funny because it seems like it's all doom and gloom, but I'm still actually happy with the season so far. It's still like a 7 out of 10 for me.
It's a good season.
Yeah.
Good season. Yeah.
But let's just see what happens. But Lukaku, we'll just keep talking about Lukaku for the rest of the season, which at this point, it's like beating a dead horse. I'm getting really, really dragged down, but let's keep the positivity and let's move forward.
Definitely. Eric Blue, thank you for coming on. We've got a stream tomorrow. We start at 7 p.m., Eric. 7 p.m. All right. So hopefully I'll see you for the match preview. We'll be doing our lineups and whatnot. So hopefully I'll see you for that. Great debate, great show tonight. Thank you for coming on, and we'll chat to you tomorrow, Eric.
Yes, I will be there hopefully on time, and see you then.
Take care, brother. Have a good night.
Take care.
Cheers, Eric. Bye bye. Peace. What a stream. Nearly 4 hours. 151 likes. Brilliant. We got to 150. Kawasi, 7 p.m. UK time. That's the time I normally go live. 7 p.m. UK time. We'll be doing our match preview for the Champions League fixture on Tuesday night. Chelsea-Lille. All right, people. It's been fantastic. Really enjoyed the show tonight. We've been on for nearly 4 hours, as I said. Thank you to everyone who's jumped in. Some new faces. Great show. Great discussion. Great debate. And I hopefully will see you again tomorrow night. If you haven't hit the like button, I'm going to ask you to do that. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Much appreciated. Have a good night. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.